Okay. Let's get the music on. Okay, right. So, last we left off, the Wayward Wanderers gathered up the last of their forces and finding Cedric, randomly wandering throughout the street after having been missing for almost 2 full days, and attempting to tie up whatever they had left with Miss Desiderata Frayne, in which she turns out she's now left the city in shame and has completely moved. You guys have finished up what you at least foresee to be for the time being, everything that you need to do that's urgent in Ral Nibblegup, and you have set your sights on the next city. You guys tied up all your loose ends, got a rabbit for Anatoly and his kids. You told the clerk at the desk, unfortunately, that like getting a turtle is probably gonna take a while. You bought a horse and a cart, and you are now setting out on your way to a brand new city. To kick off this journey, who is riding and controlling the cart?
I think it was Zinni,
Yeah.
originally, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Zinni. Zinni, can you roll me an animal handling check to start this off? 10. That's good and decent. So, with a little whoosh, you pull on the reins little, and the horse starts slowly pulling your cart, with a catatonic Cid laid on the back of it. And you guys are off on the road and travelling to Vralhafthud. From what you briefly chatted with the person when you were buying the horse from, it's probably just over a full day's travel to Vralhafthud, so you're probably going to have to camp at some point or another. But you're on your way, you ready to go?
I'm going to be on the back of the cart making up another potion.
I'm gonna be. Would the card be like rather speedy, or can we walk next to it?
It's probably going like ever so slightly faster than walking pace.
Can we all sit in it?
You can definitely there's room for 2 up front, and there's 3 more of you with Cid lying
Okay.
down. So
I sit just behind Cedric, and since I have drugs for him, and I don't really want to be caught with drugs on the road, I'd like to give them to him.
okay, so you smuggle them into his bag.
Yeah.
Let me add it to
Well,
his inventory.
I'd like to tell him, but he's not here.
Yeah,
is
he's
he?
just passed out. He is not responding. He is still absolutely super exhausted. But you can sneak it into his
Okay.
bag if you want.
I used telepathic speech to tell him in his dreams. Hello, Cedric. I've got you some refreshment after your nap. Hope you enjoy it. Sleep tight. And I put the drugs in his bag.
Okay. How much drugs was it again?
Just a baggie. It was very little. I'll just link it.
Baggie of Expand. There we go. Alright.
If we can find it. I've written it as drugs. Cool.
Well, that has been tucked away in his bag now.
And I'm clean.
You are. What else would you guys like to do while you're on this journey? if anything, because you don't have to do anything.
Other than making the potion, I don't think I can do much else.
Okay, yeah, because a lot of your focus is like on that as you're doing it.
I think my character's just playing that magical lock I bought.
Oh right, yeah, you bought a. Is it like an arcane lock? Was it right?
It was a lock of trickery.
Lock of trickery, and that's just essentially like a practice lock to practice lockpicking on.
Well, kind of, yeah. I mean, it's a lock that gives a disadvantage to lockpicking it.
Roll me a dexterity check at disadvantage then.
Can I help him in that? Because I would like to basically keep looking at him while he's playing around with his lock.
I would say no. I think lockpicking is a single activity that someone can't really assist you with. It's like a very
Okay.
finicky sort of, like, unless you like magically enhanced him in some way. I don't think there's way someone can like help to lockpick. You know, it just doesn't seem
Yeah, I
really
don't think
feasible.
so. I'll
Um,
still just look at him while he does his shit.
Yeah, I mean, you can still take in his techniques and critique him. I'm sure he'd appreciate that. Um,
Use telepathic speech and tell him that he's not good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that aside. So with an 8, yeah, you are really finding out why this is a lock of trickery. It is quite tricky to get into. As best as you can, fiddling in and with your little lock picking stuff, you are. Your tumblers aren't. You aren't necessarily breaking, thankfully, anything. But it's you really starting to get the hang and really come to familiarity with this new lock picking set that you bought.
If it's a long enough trip, can I give it another go?
Give it one more go, and it'll last for like pretty much like this whole section of the trip.
Ooh.
There's a natural one.
Okay,
There's a
fingers.
point in the trip where, as you're trying to like fumble, like you get something accidentally lodged a bit too far in there, and it just kind of like sits and hangs there even when you let go, and it's just oh.
I get very annoyed and I just throw the lock of trickery just out into middle of nowhere. Just fuck this.
Hold on.
Throwing it?
Yeah.
Roll.
Can I, in the meantime...
Don't make me roll strength.
Yeah, no. Roll me a strength check to see how far you throw it.
While he's doing that, Dax, in
Mhm.
order to not lose it, can I use my mage hand and try to catch it?
Yeah, absolutely. So 10 is a perfectly decent throw. You just launch it as far as you can, making somewhat of a spectacle of it because everyone was just quiet, minding their own business, and you just hear Andros frustratingly stand up and throw something. You do use your mage hand, which is invisible. Are you trying to like subtly catch it and bring it back, or are you just like not caring if he sees that you're taking it?
I don't really care if he sees it.
Okay. Before it hits the ground, you see that it just gets caught and then slowly starts to float back to you, and then eventually comes to Anxie.
I put it in my bag for later when he wants to try again.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention at this point. I'm just annoyed at myself putting my tools away.
He's miffed, just like starts looking the other direction, deliberately just not wanting.
It's okay, AO. Next time I'll just use haste on you, and you'll be a hasted guy trying to fuck around with a lock that can't really budge.
That means I can fail 4 attempts instead of 2.
I don't think you would be rolling for more attempts than 1, but you would be enhanced, sort of.
Well, I mean, you does it double your speed, so I'll be lockpicking twice as fast.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Does anyone happen to remember what time of day we left off on the last session?
We got up pretty early.
Yeah.
Like, we had breakfast. We went to town, did a little bit of shopping,
And then you headed out pretty much straight away,
and then we
right?
headed out straight away. Yeah, so I think it was like what, a 2-hour walk or an
lunchtime?
hour walk to town.
Okay, so it's still like probably mid-morning as you set off, right? For this section, little 9-hour chunk of travel time. Someone roll me a d20. I'll take just the first one that comes in.
No one doing it. Oh god, that's a one.
Well, Anxies came in first, so I will take that 12.
Thank God.
That could be bad though.
Okay. As you are traveling, it's a nice, pleasant day actually. There's not really that many clouds in the sky. As you, just after you set off, is when the gold light's starting to fade from the sky, so you've got like a nice blue overhead. Like I said, couple odd clouds floating by, some birds high up in the sky, some kind of like coastal oceanic bird as you're sort of getting closer and closer to the coasts. It's just a nice, pleasant day. There really isn't too much going on, and everything goes by just fine. We're starting to hit just past midday, so it's like mid-afternoon now. You see a... so to describe the landscape as well here, it's pretty much all flat plains. Like there's some very, very faint verticality to it when you're just going over like... It's like mostly farmlands that you're passing through, but it's like, you know, you're on the main road and there's like occasionally some fields. You sometimes pass like a little farmstead of just some people working out in the field, probably going to return back to the city before dark. But on the... further down the road, you see a horse and cart heading your direction as well. Is there anything that you'd like to do before this cart comes closer?
What exactly do we see? Is it just a cart with a horse and no people? Or
Roll
what?
me a perception check.
Just me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not a d20. Sorry.
You see the cart, and the
Oh,
fact
no, I
that
haven't rolled it.
Oh.
Oh, here we go.
you see a cart, you know it's something heading towards you. Does anyone else want to roll a perception check as well?
Please.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, there we go.
Alright. Andros beat you to it, Zinni. So with your nat 20, not only do you see, like, you get a good beat on the cart, you see a person driving it. The fact that you can see so much of him as well means that he's not really using a horse, because it would come up and block a lot of the vision. There's some kind of, like, bull or cattle-like creature that must be pulling the cart. You also see that there's just... at a very slight angle that you are, just because you're on the other side of the road to you, you can see someone sitting on the back of the cart as well. Like, sat with their legs off the edge of the cart.
We would see them. Have any detail to them, or just that first person there?
It just too far away at this point. You'd think that the man driving the cart is probably a bit on the shorter side, but at this range, even with the nat 20, you can't tell if he's short enough to be a dwarf or a human.
I don't think there's much more to do than just get closer than he is.
Okay. As they start to come closer and closer, you make out the visage of the man driving the cart. It is a dwarf. He looks fairly young as far as dwarfs go. Got a smallish beard coming in. You see he's looking quite tired himself. Like he's not gotten enough sleep the night before. Like his eyes are just barely staying on the road. You see at one point he sort of like starts to like slowly lilt his head to the side and bring it back up and shake it off. With your nat 20 perception as well, as the cart comes closer, you do see a number of crates in the cart as they slowly start to pass you. As you come within like 20 feet of the cart and it's passing right by you on your right, the dwarf sort of like looks over to you. Alright.
Hello.
And
How are you?
Oh, not too bad.
Where you headed?
Well, same place you've been coming from, I imagine. Round the bug up?
Oh yeah. What do you think about Round Nibble Up?
Uh,
Have you ever been?
aye, many times. And he starts to slow up his cart so that he doesn't immediately overtake you. Nice little midday chat. Well, I've been there plenty of times at this point, you know, always passing through and that. Bit of a shithole, innit? Ever since that boy took over.
I couldn't agree more.
Ah, well. So, were you going to be doing it right after then?
It's our first time visiting.
Alright.
So yeah, we'll figure it out, I suppose.
You planning to do anything while you were there?
We were yeah, there are some plans. We were gonna ask about the lordship there. Do you know anything about it?
The Lordship? You got business with him, do you?
I have no idea who he is.
It'd be probably unlikely that he sees you then if he doesn't know you were coming or you don't have direct business with him. In fact, it'd probably be a bit hard for you to get in the upper levels at all, let alone see him.
Oh, it's difficult to see him without an appointment, you're saying?
Well, I mean, not only that, it's a bit hard to get in the upper levels of the city at all. So, a bit of a divided place it is.
Oh, okay. So, can you tell us more about that?
Oh, sure. He puts his rein down and sort of pats the bull for a sec to let it know it can take a rest. And he sort of really starts to engage with the conversation because he does not get much conversation doing what he does. While this is going on as well, before he starts talking, the person sitting on the back of the cart, considerably big man, quite a big butch man, just still there, looks like he's swinging his legs off the back of the cart. You see that there is an axe placed next to him that he's just sort of not using. He's got his hand close to it. He seems to be some kind of the muscle or security for this little caravan. So as the door starts to engage you, he's like, well, so Ralafted, it's a nice city as long as you were in the nice parts. If you were going down to the scrounge, be careful of your pockets, something will get taken. That's just how the city is, but hopefully you don't find yourself down there too much. You're all strapped and looking a bit unique. You lot some kind of adventurers or something?
Yes.
Oh, alright. Maybe you're going to try your hand at the Grand Arena, are you?
Oh yeah, we've heard about that.
You know, I think they were having some kind of sporting events there recently, but the crowd have been pining for a good, battle competition for a while, so, I imagine they'd be able to schedule you in for something as long as there's some opponents for you or something. No...
if we competed and did well, would we be granted access to the upper part of the city? Or how does one do that?
Well, then that's a good question, that. So I don't strictly know. But they are very picky about who gets into the upper levels of the city. They are.
Okay.
The guards that patrol it, they take one look at you and they decide whether they want you in there or not. But if you win, and especially in a good style in the Grand Arena, that can attract the eyes of many people, I'd imagine.
If you look at us right now, do you think we'd get in?
Nah, not a shot in hell, love.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. No,
Appreciate your
it's not
honesty.
nothing to do with like you lot. It's just that you lot don't look like the kind of people they would let through. You know,
Who are the kind of people that they let through?
all the hoity-toity silver spoon fuckers who are like.
So if we looked upper class, we would be let in, is what you say?
Oh sure, you definitely like the guards don't know people by name. It's like a whole city, you know. They can't know everyone, but like if someone is like there walking with confidence, you know, I've had to do it a couple of times, and I've had to go pick up some stock that I'm about to take from like one of the shops that are in the upper levels. Like, you know, brush yourself up, walk straight ahead. If they talk to you, you tell them where you're going, what you're doing, and usually they'd let you through. But like they might keep an eye on you or something.
Okay.
But there's a very big obvious divide in the city. There is.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Bit unfortunate, but that's how it goes, isn't it? You know, when the rich people can preserve themselves like that, you know, you can't exactly blame them for doing it, especially when you see what the Scrounge has to offer.
What does the Scrounge have to offer?
Oh, it's all sorts of. Sometimes good, honest people, sometimes no good scum. You know, it's where all the dregs of the city reside, the poorest and the cheapest and the crampest of the housing and that.
I see. So, is there any advice that you can give some new visitors then, other than the divide and Scrounge and being careful?
I would say if you can afford it, don't stay in the Scrounge, because like that's where a lot of people end up having to stay. If you can fork out the money for like not necessarily one of the full upper class places, but one like a bit further up the city, it'll do you good just for the peace of mind, like, because robberies and killings happen all too often, unfortunately, in the Scrounge. The lugs didn't even patrol there half the time. Like they'll go down the main street, show their face, and that's about it. And that ain't gonna do no good when you've got all the twisting, winding streets and that.
Yeah. Okay.
Besides that, if you lot are adventurers, I mean, it's gonna have a lot more to offer from like commercial wise than there are Nibblegup will. Just because like Nibblegup is more of like a passing through city. Like sure, like some people will stop and sell their wares for a bit, but like the big businesses in this city will be Ralph Halfthird, Iron Fetter, and Steadworth for like the more, I guess, battle-minded of you.
Okay. So, if you don't mind me asking, what is it that you do? What are you escorting?
Oh, I taken, you know, I'm just like a cargo guy. I don't really do much other than that. But they can always like people I've done business with know that I'm like dependable enough that I'll be able to get this from one city to the next. So you know, I'm just a honest man doing my simple job. You know.
Does he seem shady?
Roll me
He's
an
lying,
insight
so.
check.
Alright.
With a 23 insight, you get a beat on this guy, and like a lot of his mannerisms throughout the conversation, the things that he says, the way that he says them, you really get the feeling that this is like the kind of guy who's just too interested in having this conversation and like having someone to talk to even think about lying. He's just happy to have some little bit of company ever so briefly on this probably long journey he's about to be on.
He's just a supplier.
Yeah. It's just a simple cargo escort, sort of like getting stock from one city to another.
Okay. Tony, while you're talking with him, can you ask him about his big friend there?
Who's your big friend back there? He's not really saying very much.
Oh, that's just that's Dawn. I just hired him for just to make sure I don't get, you know, robbed or nothing on my way around. hopefully won't be travelling too far west, so there's not too much of a chance of shamblers, but there's like, you can never be too careful, like. Don't say hello to him, will you? And you see as he finally sort of like starts to check into the conversation, the big man at the back of the truck goes, oh hi, and just sort of like then turns back and just keeps like, he's like looking like half up into the sky, just zoned out.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking to the dwarf again, by the way. I didn't catch your name.
Oh, my name is Jernum.
Jernum.
Yeah, Jernum. What about yourselves? You
I'm
lot have
Zinni.
a Zinni. You lot have a group name or something?
We do. Is it the Wayward Wanderers?
Wayward Wanderers. Oh, that's it.
I should really write that down.
Fancy-ish name. You done anything cool recently then?
Oh yes. I don't know if you've heard, but recently there was a big shambler attack on Edgewood, and we saved the town.
That was you!
That was us.
Fucking hell! You should have started with that, love! Jesus, I heard that was a fucking absolute spectacle of a battle. Didn't like all sorts of like buildings get smashed, hundreds of people dead? How did you lot even
Yeah.
survive?
It was tragic. But we took care of them.
Jesus, I heard there was a creature like 50 feet tall in it.
Yes, there was.
Goodness gracious, I wouldn't. It was horrifying to hear, actually. Just because, like, we've not had an attack that far east that's like a big attack in like a long time, as far as I remember. Like, outside of like Fool's Rest getting attacked every now and then, you don't usually see like sieges on cities outside of like the ones on the west coast themselves. And it was horrifying to hear, honestly. But I'm glad you lot saved the city. I hadn't heard who done it, whether it was like the Indies or some other group or something like that. But it was Wayward Wanderers. I'll remember your names.
Yeah, and if you have, if we ever cross paths again and you need some protection, we can help you with that as well.
Big ticket scorers like you, I'm not sure if I'll be able to afford you, but I'll lift you up nonetheless.
Do you perchance have any food on your little cargo?
Oh, I do.
Sorry, I'm a bit peckish.
I do have some rations. Are you wanting some of them?
Oh, if you don't mind.
Oh,
We've
sure.
not eaten for most of the day, so.
Really? Oh, you always think this is my line of business now. This is where I can finally give you advice instead of the other way around. When you were traveling, you always take more food than you think you were going to need. That's one thing I'll tell you, because you can never underestimate like when you hit that tedium of just traveling for like in silence for like 10 straight hours, and you just want to snack on something. There's nothing worse than you having to tell yourself, no, I can't snack, 'cause in 2 days I won't be able to eat. Always take more food than you think you were going to need. So
That's some
sure.
very sound advice.
And he starts like scrounging through some little bag that he's got just behind his seat, and he unwraps some dried fruits, some dried vegetables, and a little cured meat. He just hands it to you. It's sort of like a little daily package.
Thank you.
No problem.
I appreciate you giving us some advice about Rel Hathford. That's
Hathford.
really hard
It
to
is a
say.
mouthful, in it. Dwarven surnames tend to be like that. It's they don't like making it easy for us, the nobility, do they?
No, definitely not. Yeah, and hopefully we'll see you again. If you end up back in the city at some point in the next few days, you might see us again.
All right.
So
Well,
I can
I'll
imagine
keep an eye out for you. You lot do stand out in the best of ways, so I'll definitely be on the lookout for you.
Great. Sorry, what was your name again?
Jernum.
Jernum.
Ah,
Okay.
yes, right.
Nice to meet you, Jernum.
No problem. I'll see you lot around, I guess.
And you back there, see ya.
Alright, bye. The horse and the ox start up again, and you head on your own separate ways and start to carry on up towards the city.
I wonder what he was escorting, if he needs a bodyguard. Or if that is that just the standard? I don't know. I'm not familiar with those types of.
I mean, it was the first job we got hired on. I imagine
Yeah,
it's fairly standard.
True. Okay.
So, as things carry...
Oh, I'm gonna snack on the food he gave me.
Okay. It's nice for the most part. Like, dried fruit can be very hit or miss, depending on what fruit has been dried. But it's like a nice selection. There's some apples that have like stayed nice and soft, and there's some bananas that are like a little chewy, which is like, you know, nice. There's like a little bit of meat that's cured. Little bit too salty, but you know, better than it
I like
going
salt.
rotten, you know.
Does anyone else want some of this?
I can take some of the dried fruits.
Yeah, I'll share.
Thank you.
Okay. Past that, we are carrying on. Someone else roll me a d20 for the next section of travel. So this is for the afternoon.
Yo.
Baylor got in there first with a 15. Okay. So, as your journey carries on, you guys are, again, just like clip-clopping your way past. No one else is really passing you. Even as you look behind you, there's no one really traveling along this road today, as far as you can see. Even though, like, sometimes like things get a little bit obscured, but it's a pretty quiet journey on the way to Ralhafted. Your horse clip-clopping away. The day does go by relatively peacefully. Your horse starts to get like a little bit tired. This brown painted horse is like sort of, you can see it start to like visibly slow down, even though it's used to carrying or like...
Did you say the horse was brown painted?
Yeah, painted is like a way that you describe how a horse looks.
I've never heard that before.
Google brown painted
Okay.
horse.
Oh, so he's got like brown spots. Okay, I see.
Yeah, it's not really spots, it's sort of like just big splotches, really.
Patches. Yeah.
So as the horse starts to like gradually start to like slow up a little bit, you see that the golden light starts to streak into the sky again, and you realize you're probably going to need to start looking for a place to sort of like settle up soon. And as this starts to come to your mind, you see, because it's not like when the golden light is in the sky, it's like not as bright anymore. It's not like evening or anything, but it's like everything's not as vibrant because there's no like direct sunlight at the moment. But you can see ahead that a campfire has been made and has been lit. It's sort of like quite distinct on the road. You can see a couple of horses and carts situated around it, and just this campfire that's close to the road but just a little bit off it. Is
How
there
close are we?
probably a couple 100 feet away.
So they wouldn't hear us if we tried.
They've probably, if they were attempting to look, they've probably seen you, because it's like pretty flat plains, there's nothing really to hide.
Are we able to see anyone else there, around the campfire?
You see one man sort of like stood next to the campfire and like leaning over it, but you see, because you see a couple of different horses and like 2 carts, you assume there's probably more. Anything in particular you guys want to do about this, or are you happy to sidle up?
I want to keep approaching if we can. Are we headed towards them?
Yeah, I mean, there's just a one-way road. The road between Realm Nibblegup and Half-Third is a pretty straight, single-shot road with no real veering in different directions. As you are coming closer and closer, the guy that's stood by the campfire comes into a better sort of perspective for you. He is a human of middle-ish age, messy, medium-length hair, pretty like skinny build for the most part. Sort of stands up straight and looks over to you and is like, "Oh hey, are you you want to come camp up for the night? The more of us there are, the safer it is. You can never be too safe around these parts."
Do they look seedy?
The guy himself looks relatively simple. You see a couple of bodies, other walking around and just sitting by, like around their carts and stuff. Zinni and someone else roll me a perception check. .23 is good enough, actually. You count 4 people in total, including this human here. There's a half-elf, some kind of dwarf that's like sat on a tree stump and is sort of like keeping watch. And you see a man with green stony skin, just sat down on his like he's come and sat next to the campfire and is holding a lute. Yeah, the human, as you're coming closer still, just sort of like, yeah, it's gonna get dark soon, you know. I just figured, you know, since we're probably stopping around the same time, wouldn't it be better to sidle up together? Just you know that there was a big attack in Edgewood recently. Did you hear about that? It was real dangerous. You know, it's scary times.
We know about that.
Could we do an insight check to see if he's being sincere or not?
Yeah, you and Zinni roll me an insight check.
Also, if you want me to, I can use the detect thoughts on him to see what intentions he has.
Zinni, as you talking to this guy, you get the feeling that he's like a little scared. More in the sense of like he's sort of like looking like he's a little restless because he feels like he's in like a little bit of danger. Just being out here and in the elements. There's like there's good elements of truth to what he's saying, but you can't be absolutely certain that he's exactly telling the truth. You know, just like safety numbers. I'm not trying to convince you. Go on your way if you want. We're just settling up here for the night. I've already got a campfire going.
I mean, we could like set up a camp like near theirs, like next to it, but close enough where we can help if something does happen.
Next to complete strangers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, just still enough distance where we can have our own watch and
Yeah,
keep
we
an eye on
should
it.
definitely.
I want to
do
chew
that.
their ears off.
We can do that as well, of course.
Let Zinni out of the cage.
Let's fucking go. Hasted Zinni, chewing their ears. I'd love that.
So you guys pulling up your cart sort of like close to theirs then?
Before we stop, I'd like to ask them who they are, because they seem rather, you know, they
Yeah,
have...
I agree. I was going to ask their names and where they're going and what they're up to and so on.
Yeah.
Okay. So the human that you've been speaking to chirps. I was like, oh, I'm Coney. There's that's Zarin, and he points to the greenstone skinned man sat at the campfire.
Say that again?
Zarin is Xeran.
Yep.
He points to a half-elf who's sort of like on the cart and like reading a book and like looks up briefly as his name says, "That's Presso." Presso. He then turns and points at the dwarf who's sort of like holding a sword across his like legs but is like keeping watch and just sort of, hey, that's Brug. And he starts to look around a bit more.
Brug.
And he starts to look around a bit wearily, like he's lost someone. Hasseth? Hasseth, where you at? And sort of slinking out from behind one of the carts, you see a tabaxi, a cat person, in sort of like dark and black clothes, and sort of like slinks out. It's like, I'm here. It's like, yeah. We were all just like, heading in the same direction, so we thought we'd travel together. That's why we're just hunkering down here. So who are you guys?
I'm Belo, and I raise my hand.
Baylor, hi.
I'd say, hi, I'm Dirk.
Dirk, okay.
I'm Cleo.
Cleo, hi.
I look at Anksin and just confused, and then I just say, I'm Zinni.
Hi, Zinni.
The sleeping guy is Terry.
I was gonna ask Terry. Okay, right. That's cool. He looks really tired.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do?
Oh, well, sorry, I'm coughing. I wanted to say, when you said that he's really tired, he looks really tired. I wanted to say, Terry's been shagging.
That'll do it, I guess. It definitely will make you tired.
Not us,
He's
not
a
us.
turbo shagger.
I don't judge. Okay. Yeah, I mean, come sit by this the campfire. We've I just got this going. It's a nice bit of warmth as the heat leaves the atmosphere. And he just sort of like sits down next to the campfire, and he looks over to this green stone-skinned man who any of you who have been off the island will recognize as an Earth Genasi.
Oh, nice.
But as you look at it, like his skin does literally look like stone. It still sort of like bends, and he's not like a very rigid rock person. It's like very malleable, but it's like somewhat glossy, and just like some sort of like a shiny green stone, not like an emerald or something like that, like a literal sort of like stone.
There, Anne.
Hey.
I know I've just met you, but can I touch your skin?
You not seen a Genasi before?
Huh?
Yeah, she's not seen a lot of things. Don't be offended, please.
It's alright. Island natives
I'm just
are crazy.
curious.
Yeah.
I get it. No, yeah, come. And he sort of like holds out his bare-skinned arm.
And I do a little stroke.
As you do, it literally feels pretty much exactly like a smooth, glossy stone. It doesn't feel like skin whatsoever. It's very hard. Like as your nails like knock against it as you're like sort of like stroking it up and down. It is hard. It feels like if you flicked it, it'd hurt your finger.
Like
Very-
a pebble?
Yeah, exactly like a pebble, like a nice smooth pebble.
Where are you guys coming from? How did you meet?
Oh, we just met at like the city gates, and so since there's only one road out, we were like decided to travel together because we didn't necessarily have security for all of us, so
Which
safety in
city?
numbers. Oh, Ralhafted, it's
Oh, you're coming from it.
yeah. I mean, this road only connects two cities.
Oh yeah, but you might have come just before us from around Nibelgub. Who knows that?
Oh yeah, sorry. True, I'm stupid. My bad.
It's alright. It's alright. It happens.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
I take it some of you folks are not from the island. Am I wrong in that assumption?
Uh, I am. I was raised up in Bramaris. But you know, like I think Hasseth said he's from the island, and you watch as this Tabaxi cow person slinks down into the conversation as because he's sat down on the ground, you're sort of like stood up, and he sort of like slinks and intersects his head and interposes between the two of you. And it's like, yes, I've come from off the island. I'm enjoying my stay so far, but would like to get back sometime soon.
I still have a lot to learn about the island. I'm not really.
Oh yes, there's all sorts of, let's say, unique cultures to them.
True. While that's happening, I use telepathic speech and I tell Zinni, these people might know more about religion. You can ask them if you trust them. Maybe they can help you.
I look at Anxie and do a little nod.
You see that Zarin he turns his head away from the conversation and starts tuning his lute again. You occasionally hear the bang, 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 bang as he sort of like continues to tune it. The two that haven't said anything so far, Presso and Brug, they're just sort of keeping to themselves. Presso is like nose deep in a book and just sort of like reading it very, very extensively, wearing very simple clothes. Brug is wearing something that's like closely resembling armor. You see that he's sort of like, again, just keeping an eye out on the road and occasionally sort of like staring up into space. Hasseth starts to get a bit closer to you, Anxie. He's like, so where exactly are you from then?
That's a great question, Dax. I don't think the forest that I'm from exists yet.
You could just say that the Demwell Dominion, and we can wrap this conversation up from there.
I'm just outside of what he said.
The Demwell Dominion.
Yeah, sure. Where you said you're from outside of this island? Where exactly?
Yes, well, I've been all over. Maybe some places my home, maybe it isn't. It's quite hard to say these days, travelling on the road.
You seem to be a very experienced adventurer.
I wouldn't say adventurer, more of an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's even
I
more
follow
cool.
where the opportunities take me.
I see. What brought you to the island? Was there anything in particular, or you were just curious?
Curiosity, mainly. I always
Yeah.
saw this island on maps and never saw it named, so when I showed up to the port and people were telling me, oh, don't go, it's a terrible place, I just thought, fuck it, let's do it.
Sometimes you've just got to be like that, haven't you? You've just got to be like, fuck it, let's do it.
Exactly. That's the kind of spirit that I like in people.
Did you learn anything about the island during your travels? Since you've been here for a while, I take it.
Yes, I've learned quite a lot. I've learned that this place is really fucked up.
Exactly.
What makes you say that?
What makes me say that is the random monsters spawning around all over the place. It's quite a stark difference to the peaceful roads anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. It is quite the mystery as to why that keeps happening.
Well, people around here, whenever I ask them about it, consider it more of a law of nature than anything that's happening. They just think it's something that always has and always will. Rather strange, if you ask me.
Yeah, I've been curious about what exactly is going on here. It's very curious, isn't it?
There are many mysteries to this world. You just have to figure out which ones are worth solving.
That's correct.
He sort of sticks his head up into the air and like breathes in through his nose deeply. It's like ever so faint scent of coastal air. Don't like being too far away. Getting inland feels a bit sticky. I don't know how to say it.
I just smile awkwardly.
As you smile, he sort of like straightens up his back and starts to like walk off towards one of the near sort of like little farm pastures that are close to nearby.
Did they mention if they've been to Halford?
Yeah, they are coming from there, all of them.
And did they mention where they were going?
Not really, no. Some of them, well, the tabaxi said that he wants to leave the island, so I would assume. Wait. That's not the way.
So Dragon's Rest, though, is where he wants to be going, right?
But that's not the. Yeah, you're correct. Huh.
That's very
We should
sussy.
ask.
Is that the Pebble Man who said that?
Oh, is the cat man.
What's the name of the tabaxi? Because I didn't hear it.
Hasseth. Hasseth.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay, sure.
Hasseth? What was that? Who's named that?
Catman.
Oh, is the Catman as well?
Yeah, that's the one who's just been talking.
Yeah, I think I.
Khajiit?
I
Yeah,
wrote his
basically
name
a
correctly.
Khajiit, but like D&D's version of it.
So, you
So
said you
the
guys
bard-
came from Ralhafthud? Is that right?
Yeah. That's where we've come from. We were just all at the city gates at the same time, so we just head out in this direction.
Were you there for a long time?
I was yeah. I was there like a couple months.
We just spoke to another person on the road who told us that there's a bit of a divide in the city, the Scrounge and then the upper parts of the city. Do you
Oh
have any
yeah,
advice
it's
about
like
that?
it's like super obvious. When I came, it was just like it was kind of crazy. Like I haven't seen any other city do it like that, but like having like a literal barrier between your poor people and the rich people is like kind of crazy.
Barrier.
Yeah, it's weird.
Did you manage to get up to the upper parts of the city?
No, I didn't really try. I like stayed in
Okay.
like the like middling regions. I didn't go to the Scrounge. It was like too scary. Like I like literally looked down the main street and I turned around and went the other way. I like forked out twice as much for another inn and I said fuck it.
Oh, so there's places to stay if you don't want to stay in the Scrounge.
Oh yeah. No, there's
Okay.
places all over, but like the Scrounge is where you'll find the cheapest.
Okay.
So what's taking you there? What are you guys going to be up to?
Can someone else answer this question? Because I actually don't remember why we're going to the city.
Okay. Well, as a matter of fact, we've got quite a few things to do in there. There was an interesting arena happening at some point, and we would like to check it out.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
arena.
yeah.
I went and watched something there. There was like some kind of sport match happening between the two schools that was happening there. That was wild. That's been going on for like 2 weeks now. But like, I think that was gonna be finishing either tomorrow or the day after. I can't remember. But I don't know what their schedule's looking like. I don't remember seeing anything being advertised. But like, are you guys going to watch or to fight?
We will see when we get there. We don't really have certain plans for that. However, we also have quite a few things to research around town. We were told that there are some interesting stores, and we can buy more things from there.
Okay.
In comparison to Raw Nibelgup, so we would like to do some research there and stuff like that.
Research. I mean, if you're doing research, you may want to speak to Presso. Presso, weren't you some kind of like researcher? And at the call of his name, the half-elf sort of like looks up from his book and goes, "Mm-hmm. What?"
Oh, sorry to bother you. What are you reading?
Just some historical accounts of the island.
Oh, that's what I'm pretty much interested in.
Oh.
Have you been interested in what exactly is going on in the island.
Oh yes, well there's always plenty of fascinating things of empires rising and falling. I've
Yeah.
recently been reading, and he holds up and like wiggles the book at you. I've recently been reading like a little deep dive into Espark Hills.
Oh, I read about it as well. In the previous town, there wasn't much information, but I've read quite a few things about it. And
as I've been
it
reading
seems-
through this book, I don't think anyone who's written anything about it is. I think they're all fucking dumb. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. I've read it and I was like, there's so many obvious things that they've pretty much ignored.
Don't get me wrong. It's unfortunate that there's no like actual historical accountings of like what's happened.
I guess.
But even I, just by when I briefly visited and passed through there, already had plenty of theories of my own as to why the place fell into ruin.
Oh, what's your theory?
Well,
If you don't mind sharing.
have you been there yourself?
Yeah, we went past there.
You passed it, okay. Well, you'll have seen like the ruins scattered around both on top of the hills and below.
Yeah.
So, what I noticed, especially as I tried to take a closer look, even some of the more ruined ones that were like hidden beneath the mud and grass, they were all incredibly separated, and there was like sort of like plenty of like tiny little hamlets all over the place. Like sometimes you would see a couple of bunched houses and like a larger building, then you'd move like a good bit over and you'd find another little hamlet. And what I think has occurred, given that this was a city that was very early situated, I think that they did not really know or understand at the time the difficulties that the Shamblers would have posed. And so, given that the city was so divided, or the nation, I guess it was, given that it's so vast, was so divided, they weren't able to properly defend themselves, and little bits gradually fell, and over time the entire area succumbed to ruin, and anyone who did survive managed to get out and flee to a more established city. At least that's what I think, just by going there and looking around. But I can't even find mention of like the mere idea in any of these books.
I see that in the books I've read, it seemed like one of the first I'm thinking of the word nations that lived on this island was actually in there.
Yes.
That's rather interesting,
It's weird because you can't. It was sort of a nation, but it's also sort of not. This island is sort of. This island is technically within the purview of the Demwell Dominion. They technically own it, but they also sort of don't do anything. So it's like if you were to look on like a map, for example, this island, Ralverkle, would be counted as part of the Demwell Dominion, but you talk to any of or read anything about the lordship and like the people who really govern this place, and they don't sort of curtail the authority to or for anyone. They sort of act as the sole authority on this island. They don't pay any tithe, they don't pay any taxes, they don't pay anything towards the mainland, and it's sort of an independent place, but again sort of not, because nobody who comes here really wants to be here for long, and those who already are here, from what I've noticed, don't really know how much better things are everywhere else.
Yeah, people here do seem rather sheltered. They don't really have much information about normal things that people outside of the island do.
Yes, it's.
Are you from here? It doesn't seem like it, but it's worth asking.
I was indeed born here, but I've left the island on several
you've traveled.
occasions. Yes, I have.
What was the biggest shock for you when you left?
Well, more than anything for me, something that I miss quite greatly from the mainland is just roadside inns. You don't have any of them here. And I was thinking about it, and I think it must be for good reason. In the same way that Espark Hills fell to ruin because they were too separated, the very nature of this island doesn't allow for small hamlets or single roadside inns or anything of the sorts, because
Yeah.
one random shambles spawning by and some innkeeper is going to be left to slaughter.
Yeah, that's rather unfortunate, but can understand why they're missing here also.
You're travelling along any roads in the mainland and you can find all sorts of little inns along the road, and all sorts of like farmsteads even, and like, making use of all the land. You see here, and he starts pointing to the sort of farmland around you guys. He's like, you notice this farmland? It's completely abandoned. Nobody works these parts because it's too far away from the city for people to arrive here, work, and then leave. And as he points it out to you, you do start to take in, like, the fences are sort of like quite crippled in places. Like, the soil doesn't look tilled; it just sort of like looks beaten up by the elements. Like,
Yeah.
This previously was farmland, and it just isn't anymore. Yes, it's a unique island, to say the least. I did do a lot of reading, and so like when I went to the mainland, not a lot of things shocked me all that much because I had like read quite a lot about it, But it's the more cultural differences that I wasn't quite ready for.
So you mentioned the farmland's abandoned, which suggests that it used to be used. What has changed to cause that?
I don't think anything's changed, but it's like I imagine when people originally settled this island, they immediately tried to farm everything because that's just the smart thing to do. But there's always eventually going to be some up and comer who buys the land in attempt to do something with it, and eventually it falls to ruin. Like I said, when one simple shambles spawn, and any civilians in the area are just dead, and it's.
I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, people have been settling this island for hundreds of years. If
Thousands of
these
years at
farms-
that.
Yeah, I mean, if these farms have been abandoned for thousands of years, they wouldn't resemble farms at that point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're not. These are not the farms of thousands of years ago. These are farms of probably the last couple of decades ago. Some person probably tried to buy it up, plant something, and then just attend to it every so often. But this is what like a 10-hour journey from the closest city. We're like slap bang in the middle between the two. No one's going to be able to find the time to come out here during the day, do all the farm work needed, and then return home safely.
I'm from this island, so
Oh.
I'm really curious about all the things that you're talking about because I can't relate to the world outside of the island, and the different.
Right. Well, is there anything particularly you'd like to ask me about?
I guess I should ask about religion.
Oh. Interesting. Tell me, what do you know of it so far?
Not a lot.
As do most people on this island. It's quite the travesty, really, that the entire realm of the divine is all but forgotten and abandoned here. How... I don't mean to sound rude, but how did you come to even learn of it in the first place? Many people I speak to simply just don't even know that it exists.
My friend here, I point to Wanksy, but I don't
Leo.
say her name because she gave a fake name and I don't remember what it was. She tried to help me understand it very recently, as I've been I was looking at a book in the library and it mentioned religious symbology, and obviously this is not something that I've heard of before, so I was trying to ask about it. The librarians and the staff there, and none of them knew what it was either.
Well, it can't be a very good library if even the librarians themselves know not of what their books speak of. Ah. Let me tell you, child, let us gather around the fire, it's getting a bit chilly. And Presso hops, because he was sat on the cart, he sort of jumps off and sort of like stretches his arms and legs. He's like sort of a bit quite tall and skinny, like about 6 foot, but like, you know, very lithe, very thin. And comes and sort of like crouches and sits next to the fire, slots a book in like a little knapsack that he had tied around his waist, and sort of comes and sits around the fire. Are any of you joining as well?
Yeah, I sit next to Zini.
Okay, I'll go to the eat as well.
So, it's quite fun. I don't often get to teach. The realm and the domain of the divine is a very vast one. The gods themselves are beings of the wider universe. The universe being everything that surrounds this planet that we are on. They're quite. Some people say all powerful. Some people say not. It's hard to determine. They have had direct influence on this island itself, but it's sometimes hard to measure the extent of their powers. They're not like. They aren't a literal person that you and I can like look at or speak to, but they are more like a presence that is always around. And there are many people of religious favours, clerics and paladins, who obtain power from these people, who have the power given to them by these gods, and they helped to form the very planet. Humans would not exist on this planet should the gods have not existed. I believe this is some old knowledge that you do well to remember. There were very limited races that lived on this planet before the gods intervened, and there really wasn't much going on. There was gnomes, dwarves, halflings, Goliaths, the various genasi. There's probably more, but you know, it doesn't really matter. The point is, humans came to this planet when the gods put them on it. And similarly, the elves came to this planet when portals from the Fae were opened to here. The planet Zemia, as we've come to call it, has diversified itself quite considerably since these gods came and did what they do. Again, like it's very nebulous and very large and difficult to explain, especially to someone who has no concept of them. But you can imagine them, I guess, as big, invisible beings that are always around, always paying attention, and always untying little knots in the threads of life. Does that... I'm sorry, I've gone on quite a tangent. Does that explain it well?
I not.
Somewhat. It's definitely a lot to think about.
It certainly is sort of like a big subject to think about. I remember when I learned about it for myself for the first time as well. It's really quite a difficult thing to wrap your head around. Oh, I was, I've been very fortunate in my life, and I've had many an opportunity to learn more than the average denizen of this island. I'm recognise I'm quite gifted in that regard, and I made sure to do well with the opportunities I was given.
I'm sorry. Where and how?
Oh,
I'm just curious if, there's a lot of subjects that, well, a lot, I don't know, but there are clearly subjects on this island that are not, that people are not familiar with, right? So I'm just curious if there was another subject like this again, where could we learn about it?
Oh, well, like as you've seen yourself, you can't necessarily trust the libraries and the workings of the people who've lived here. The best source I can imagine, at least for like a starter level of information, is to speak to those who just have personal experience of being beyond the island. There's a great many people scattered all throughout the island, though they may sometimes be difficult to spot out than others, of people who have been on travels outside the island, those of a more scholarly background than myself, who have taken a lot of personal care and learning considerably more. There's all manner of people out there.
I have a question out of character. If we were to, because I assume that there's people who like are just basic NPCs, and then there's people who have abilities like us that are assigned to some kind of class, right? So if I was to ask them if they had some kind of power, do I just ask if they're an adventurer, and that covers that question?
Not really.
Not strictly. Like, it'll usually be pretty obvious because, like,
he's a wizard.
Yeah, like people who like are like you guys and have a kind of class will be kind of people who have seen some kind of like combat. Even like a wizard, even though they learn all this stuff, they have to like test out their spells. They'll at least like come across as a little battle hardened. This guy comes across pretty much as just like a rich commoner, basically. Like if he were to have stats, he would have 8 HP and like nothing else. Like that's pretty much it. And that's like most people that you'd speak to. But like people that, like Magdalena you spoke to previously, she was very obviously a wizard. She has a character sheet. She will have like considerably more. But like you wouldn't necessarily call her an adventurer, you know.
And then if someone was like a wizard, you would say that, right? Because I wasn't here when she was revealed, so I don't know if you did say that.
I may not say it exactly. And like there are ones that are more subtle, like a sorcerer and a warlock are like kind of difficult to like spot straight away because their powers are more inherent rather than sort of like learned. It's like if someone just looked at Anxie, they wouldn't be able to tell she was necessarily a sorcerer because that's just like powers that she can summon as of when that she hasn't like learned. She just sort of has.
A quick question. So, how far away is our cart from like all of them?
All of them? You've parked it probably like 10 feet away from them.
Okay. While they're like trotting away, I'm just on the cart casting alarm as a ritual.
Nice.
Okay.
Like a say 20-foot radius around the cart.
Okay. Cool.
So, do none of these people look like they have a character sheet, let's say it like that?
There are some that look like it's probably down to me to describe them a bit better. Brug, the dwarf who's sort of like brandishing and holding a sword, looks like he could have like a character sheet, but is like pretty low level. Hasith is sort of like in tighter, darkened clothes. As you've seen him walk around, you see he's got like a dagger like on a belt behind his back.
Yeah.
He looks closer to a rogue, but like everyone else, and the fuck was his name? Zeren looks like a bard because he's got a lute.
Bard.
He may not be like a high-level battle bard or something like that, but he at the very least probably has like the ability to cast bardic inspiration or something.
He can buff us up. The wizard guy. Well, he's not a wizard apparently. Presley is not a wizard though. He's just like a rich man that's been around. Is that it?
He just looks like a half-elf guy who's just reading a book and that's it.
Well, yeah, because he's been quite knowledgeable
Hmm.
and stuff like that. Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm trying to, because I want to put myself in Zinni's shoes, right? And, he mentioned religion and he said that, like, because Zinni doesn't know that religion is influencing her, so I don't think Zinni can just go ahead and start asking about paladins and clerics
Hmm.
off the get-go. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the conversation just ends here, actually, and
Well, I mean, we can bring it back so
The
like he finishes his explanation. So it's like does that all make sense to you? Do you have any like follow-on questions? Like, because there's a
I
whole.
think the only clue that Zinni has is that she's read a book on symbiology. Is that the right word? Symbology.
Symbology. Yeah.
And she saw the word religion. Well, she saw religious symbology mentioned in one of the books, and that's it. So I don't think Zinni can start being like, "Oh, my powers to do with religion," because she doesn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, exactly. That's
I
totally
mean,
fair.
Technically, you can show him the sign you have. Because you were looking at symbology for it. Maybe it is a symbol.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If
Maybe I ask
if
him.
he's actually that aware of religion and stuff like that, maybe. But yeah, I don't think if you can really ask about clerics and stuff like that since you don't know what that is.
Yeah, your leading point of question is pretty much just going to be around the symbol that you've seen in your dream.
Yeah, just don't overthink it, Tony. I think like try to do it as simple as possible. Ask about symbols, religions, stuff like that, and you will get there.
Yeah, everything's good so far, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Mm-hmm.
Presso. You seem like a very knowledgeable person. We've
Why,
been
thank you.
looking into a couple of symbols and wondered if maybe you knew anything about these symbols.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, if I've seen it before, I'll certainly tell you what I know. What kind of
So-
symbols are you talking about?
The first one we've seen throughout the island, and we looked it up in one of the books that I was reading in the library, which mentioned that it's a symbol related to the lordship of the island, but no one seems to know where it originated from. And Lord Dewey of Ral Nibblegup had no idea what it was. Although he does seem quite ignorant to say the very least. But we found this symbol in an area which is completely removed from the lordship. So we're curious if there's
Right.
a deeper meaning behind it, if that makes sense.
Well, of course I can. Show me the symbol, and I shall see if I've seen it before.
I'll just draw it in my little notebook, I guess.
Okay. You draw it
sure.
and show it to him, and he sort of like studies it for a second. You see, just.
Did Dax DC?
What did I DC? Oh, I'm still here.
You did a
not-
weird thing where you stopped talking for like
Oh.
3-4 seconds and then suddenly talk really fast.
Okay, never mind. I'm cool. I'm here. Right. So he looks forward and sort of like gets real close to the book, and then sort of like squints, and then just goes, ah, fuck, and then reaches into his pockets and gets out some small glasses, and then like really comes back and looks closely. And oh. It does look vaguely familiar, but I can't tell you what it exactly is because I'm not really sure myself. Sorry.
That's okay.
What did you say that it was about in your book?
The book said that the exact origin of this symbol is unknown and it is generally associated with the lordship across the island.
Lordship. If it's referring to the lordship, it's probably referring to the main 4 lords that have dominion over the island. That being in the 3 Ral cities, and then Ironfetted itself. You said Dewey. You spoke to Dewey Nibblegup yourselves?
Yes.
Oh. He claimed to not know what this was
Exactly. We first saw this symbol actually in a cave when we were when we were basically helping Edgewood.
about.
They asked us
Okay.
to deal with some pests. We ended up in a cave. We saw the symbol. We then went to Ral Nibblegup, saw the symbol in Lord Dewey's chambers,
In his
and asked him. Yes, on a large what on the wall behind him. Sorry.
Right.
We asked him about the symbol, and he said that he had no idea, and it's just there, basically. And then we found it in the book, and yeah, the book told us it's related to the lordship.
Well, that is incredibly strange. I feel like I've seen it before. I can't tell you exactly where, because I do not know. But it really feels like I've seen it. If it's associated with the lordship, like I said, it'd be referring to the 4 lords on the island, who provide dominion and protection to the other smaller cities. But
If it's associated with the lordship, why did we find it in a cave in the middle of nowhere?
that's incredibly strange. I'm not sure. From what I'm thinking, there's several different things that you can do to research this. One would be to find a better library, and as unfortunate of an answer as that is one of the main options. Secondly, you could, I guess, Dewey was a new heir. You could try and speak to some of the other lords about it.
We hope to do that once we get to Ral Hathard, but
You, I think,
been
will
told
be
that it's
hard
difficult.
pressed, yes, to get
Yes.
an audience with Hennard. He is quite the elusive lord at the best of times. Even I find it rather difficult to get an audience with him. Regardless, past that, you could also seek out maybe some kinds of history enthusiasts in Settleton. It is the oldest city on this island, and where I imagine plenty of the more history receptive people will reside, and there's most definitely some sort of hobbyist there who will have a better idea than myself. But this, unfortunately, is just not one of the domains in which I've personally read into it all that much. Though I do ask whenever I do see a symbol what it is regarding. This is just one that I don't believe that I've come across before. But again, it just feels familiar.
That's okay. We're probably going to be heading to Settleton at some point in the future once we've been to Ral Hathard anyway, so
Okay, right.
we can hopefully ask around there. And I'm curious, you mentioned going to a better library. Is there a library you can recommend?
Settleton will certainly have one. The best libraries, of course, on any of the islands would be within the Lord's personal chambers themselves, though you'd be incredibly fortunate to find yourself within those, or maybe incredibly unfortunate, depending on your perspective, or what you've done, I imagine. But past that, I imagine Settleton will have a somewhat decent library. Again, just by factor of being the oldest city, has probably got at least the best historical records.
That's really helpful, thank you.
Well, the problem is when recommending for learning about history of this island specifically, that's where things become a lot more difficult. If we were on the mainland and you asked me, I could name several cities, several different libraries, universities, all sorts, in which you could get amazing educations of all sorts, but none of them will have anything relevant to this island, because everything on the mainland doesn't speak about this island whatsoever. It barely acknowledges its existence. And so that means you have to rely on the self-reporting of the citizens of this island in order to learn anything historically about it, which is where historians tend to fall flat.
That's very odd.
Again, that was one of the cultural things that shocked me the most, is that when I told people where I was from when I was travelling on the mainland, they all looked at me with absolute disbelief, even the most learned of scholars. When I would tell them I live on the island of Ralverkill, they would look at me dumbfounded like I had said something made up.
Oh, very strange.
Hmm.
Can I ask you about this other symbol? Just in case you might be familiar
Of course,
with it.
yes, absolutely.
And I show him my drawing in my notebook.
Of the double-ended scythe.
Yes.
He takes a look at it, really peers at it, and I can see why you may have assumed this was something that would be religious. This certainly has the aesthetic.
I did not assume this at all.
Oh, who was it that did?
I don't think anyone has really assumed that it's religious. We're just
Oh,
looking into.
well, I mean,
You're the first person to make that connection, actually.
Oh, well, I mean, let me be the first to tell you then. This certainly has the aesthetic of other religious symbols, though I haven't. I'm not all too familiar with them. There are some that are like very popular, very prominent, and there are other gods that are like more elusive, less prominent, do not like to be, I guess, in the spotlight, so to say. So I wouldn't have a complete breadth of knowledge on all of them, but this certainly does have the aesthetic of them, that being it containing some kind of tool or item of function, and then being in some kind of shape. It is incredibly simple compared to a lot of like the some of the religious symbology that I have seen, but that certainly doesn't discount it from being one of them at all. Unfortunately, this simply isn't my particular like vested interest of like field of research, but this certainly would be a good stepping stone, I'd assume.
I have to disagree with what he's saying, because you said that a lot of symbols on the island based on like it was like farmers' tools crossed over and stuff like that. So saying that a religious symbol generally has a tool and then a shape, like, completely doesn't make sense, because that's what all the majority of the symbols on the island are, no? But
Zinni, roll me an insight check.
Oh well. I was asking this out of character, but yeah.
I think even out of character, you effectively are Zinni, and if you're clocking onto something, I think Zinni would have as well.
Well, Zinni's learning about it. I think Zinni is very unfamiliar in the subject, but you...
As you're speaking to him, and he's sort of like talking about this, even with a natural one, again, that doesn't like mean you get absolutely nothing whatsoever. You see that he's very... He self-admittedly isn't talking from a place of knowledge, because he's like, you know, he said he hasn't researched this specifically. But you are now starting to question his authority and like the certainty with which he speaks. You're questioning it. You don't know whether he's telling the truth or lying or talking out his ass or whatever, but you now no longer just like a blindly believing him, at least.
Okay. But
I mean, as far as I can tell, this certainly, like, of the religious symbols that I do know of, the few that I do know, they're quite ostentatious, very loud, very filled with a lot of like pizzazz. I don't know how to say it, but they're very in your face. This is very simple, elegant. Seems too much so to be something regular. A double-ended scythe is also sort of like an oddity in of itself, because it's not, it's not exactly like a hoe that a farmer would use. A double-ended scythe in itself is a tool that nobody can really use. It's all rather peculiar. How did you come across this symbol on this island where there's no religious iconography at all usually?
I saw it in a dream.
Oh. Right. I think he's gonna roll an insight check right now. Okay. Sure, I mean, there's, things can be found in all the strangest of places. Anyway, that's, I think, about it. I'm sorry, I'm getting rather tired. I've been doing a lot today. Lot of reading, that is to say. But if you don't mind, it's getting a bit later and I'd like to turn in for the night.
Of course. Thanks for talking with us.
It's no problem. Sleep well. And you see as
Good
he
night.
gets up from the fire camp and starts to walk around to the cart where he sort of like pulls out and lays out a bedroll in the cart itself. And as you're sort of like tuning into the environment around you now, the sound starts to come back into your sort of like audible field of view, I guess. Just a bang 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 bang. Just a Zarin tuning his lute over and over and over again. He's been doing this for a while, and it doesn't. Every time he like tunes it in, and then somehow tunes it back out of tune, and it's quite odd. But is there anything else anyone would like to do before turning in for the night?
I'll just mention to everyone that I've set an alarm on to try and like stay within 20 feet of the cloud. And we should also set up like a watch rotation.
Definitely should set up a watch rotation.
Yeah, I'm rather I'm trying to be alert while all that's happening, even while talking to the guys.
Yeah, I made a point as well that when setting the alarm, that it won't alarm on any of us, like traveling within 20 feet of the cloud, but anyone else will, including the other people.
Sorry, it won't alarm who, sorry?
So it won't alarm for Anxie, Baylor, me, Zinni.
I'm not sure that that's something you can stipulate with it.
It says when you cast a spell, you can designate creatures that won't set off the alarm.
Oh, it literally says it. I just glossed over that one single sentence. Cool.
Yeah.
Basically, none of us will set it off. But anyone else getting within 20 yards of us.
So all 5 of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can either have it be audible or not audible. I'm having it not audible because that will wake me up. If it
Having a
goes off.
mental alarm. Okay.
Is anyone else still awake that's not us?
Zarin is still by the campfire. Coney is like sat down next to him, sort of like hands up to it, taking in the heat. Hasith, you don't see where he is, and Brug is still
Up to no
sat
good.
on the tree stump.
So Brugger's keeping watch at the minute?
For the time being, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll take the first watch. Who wants to take the next one?
I'll
Um,
keep you company since I wouldn't be able to do a watch by myself. I don't have dark vision.
Okay. Who else has dark vision then?
Me.
Okay. Well, if you want to take one next time.
And I'll keep you company on that watch.
Okay.
Is it just two rotations we need?
You will need 3 if you want to get a good rest.
Baylor, can you see in the dark? Or...
I can't.
I mean, we could just rely on our alarm.
But he's not
Uh-uh.
here.
I'll tell you what I can do though. I can hear pretty well, right? Because, hearing is not a bad thing. And if I hear something, I can cast dark vision on myself instantly. So I'll take the last watch.
Yeah, and we do have my alarm as well, in case you miss anything.
Cool.
Okay.
Another question, my healing potion, would that be done by now?
It is now done, minus the ingredients, and add a healing potion to your inventory.
Does anybody need another healing potion or would like to carry a healing potion?
I'll take one. I don't think I have one.
All right. Add a healing potion to your inventory.
Okay.
How do they work? Do you have to roll for the amount it heals or something?
Yes, it's 2d4 plus 4 for a regular healing
I'll
potion.
definitely ask you that again when I
Yeah,
use it,
no,
so-
don't worry. It's standardized across whatever type of potion it is, so it's it's easy to refer to.
Okay.
Okay. So who was taking the first watch again?
Anxie and Andros.
Anxie and Andros. As everyone heads off to bed, Coney, Zarin, and Brug all head off to bed. Hasseth you still haven't seen since he slinked off towards the what you now know was an abandoned farm pasture. Everyone sort of tucks in for the night. They don't have anyone keeping watch. You guys sit down around the campfire.
Nope.
Oh, what are you doing?
Just outside the cart.
Outside the cart, okay.
Trying to be as close to my companions as possible. Which I would assume are sleeping in the cart, because it would be...
They are. Are you going to put out the campfire, actually?
The worst thing that can happen is basically a monster seeing it and attacking us, so...
Okay, what I'll do is I will use control flames which is a cantrip.
Mm-hmm.
It lasts for an hour, but I can just reuse it during our watch to half how bright the flames are.
Okay. Oh yeah, change lasts for 1 hour. That's a cool, neat little spell, right. So, both you guys take your watch, both of you roll a d20, or sorry, a perception check for me.
We're so getting our things stolen.
Okay. It's a nice, calm night. There's not much going on. There hasn't been pretty much all day. It's been somewhat nice to see people on the road, honest folk doing their thing. Is there any conversation you two want to have before your shift comes to an end?
Well, Duck, when you want to try again with the lock, you can just tell me and I can give it to you, You have to promise you wouldn't throw it away again, though. It's rather stupid.
What do you mean I threw it away?
Yeah, about that. And I basically opened my back to show him. And then
I know.
close it immediately.
Okay, well, I'll let you know if I ever need it, but I don't think I ever want to see that thing again at the moment.
Well, that's rather fair. You should, do something about your anger issues. And that's it. I just continue on.
Okay. As the night carries on, you and your party members, the rest of them all sound asleep. You guys staying alert and awake, looking down different directions, up and down the road, occasionally into the farm pastures. Those pastures, by the way, just completely abandoned. One of them has like a very small shed in it, but it looks like, even from this, just looks like the roof's come in on it, and it's just like been left there and abandoned. There really isn't much to this space in between the cities. The fence looks like it's been weathered quite a bit. It's been blown over in some places. In some places it still stands, looking like it's brand new. But after a good couple hours, your watch comes to an end and you're free to wake up the next person.
Before I go to bed, I check my belongings. I don't trust any of these folks, so might as well check.
Okay. As you check through all your belongings, I'm assuming there's a bag you left in your cart, right?
Yeah, and also patting myself, I guess, if I had any coin on me or anything.
Everything looks just about as you left it. You can't notice anything that's been missing.
Okay, I go back to the cart and start sleeping.
Who's getting woken up for the next shift?
Yeah, I
Me.
go wake up Zinni.
Okay.
Go to sleep.
Zinni, roll me your perception check for your shift. .24, that's a good one. As you stare out off into the distance, you're taking the absolute midnight shift, where everything is at its absolute darkest. And in the monochrome vision you get for like 60 feet, the whole world looks at a complete standstill. You don't even see any rustling of animals or anything. And given that like a lot of your time recently has been spent in the proximity of a giant forest, it's a little jarring that everything's really quiet and really silent. Is there any sort of like moments of reflection that you want to have in this moment, and maybe even just talk to yourself about? Or
I'm sat on the stump
mm-hmm.
and I'm kicking my little legs
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking at the stars.
The stars are out tonight. There's plenty of like open sky. You see the moon as well, glowing as much as it always does. You're able to somewhat sort of like know what the stars are, because they always stay in the same position, and you see little constellations
Be
that
right back, my food, yeah.
Sure. You see little constellations that Granny Squiggle pointed out to you before. You try and look for your favourite constellation. Roll me... Actually, with it, I'll keep your perception check at 24. You do manage to spot your favourite constellation, which Granny Squiggle pointed out to you as being the Big Willy.
On brand.
It's there in all its glory. Whenever you tried to tell other people about the Big Willy, they didn't really know what you were on about. Looked like you were talking crazy talk. But you see it right there, it looks like a Big Willy in the sky.
And then, I guess, whilst I'm looking at the stars and the constellations, and even the Big Willy, I wonder if it's all connected to the gods. Guy's just written, why Dax always got to talk about cocks?
Ugh. Hey, it's not me, it's Zinni. and her granny. I ain't said or done nothing.
I'm just a little gnome. I don't want to see a big cock. I'm terrifying.
It's just having a cute moment, little gnome sitting on a stop, and then you start talking about wheelies.
I'm,
That's on you.
I'm just imagining, like, you look up to the sky and you see one of Scott's drawings.
Hey man, Granny Squirrel likes pointing it out every single time the stars are out at night. As you sit in this moment of pondering,
I'm back.
there's a lot of strange feelings in the air for you. A lot of things going on, a lot of things changing. When you lived your life up in Northwind, a lot of things were staying the same for a long time, and that's how you were used to things being. You don't really know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just strange. But with that, your watch does come to an end. Would you like to wake up Baylor for his shift?
Yeah.
Okay. Baylor, can you roll me a perception check at disadvantage, considering that you are blind?
I can do.
Okay. As you sort of sit there in pitch darkness, again, not even being able to see your own hand in front of your face, you start to think back, as everyone does when they're in these sorts of isolationist moments, about all the sort of pressure on your shoulders at the moment. There's a lot of people with expectations of you. A lot of people that mean a lot to you. You think that even with everything going on, and things going the way they have done, that you've done a good job so far. And should you stay the course and hold to your morals, you'll do your best to be able to continue to live up to those expectations. And with that... Andros, you hear something blaring going off, loud as fuck, instantly waking you up. Your alarm spell has been triggered.
Okay, I get up and so look how you cast.
Do I notice that?
So I immediately get up and cast Control Flames to double the brightness of the campfire.
Baylor, you don't even see or hear any of this, but you suddenly... the campfire blows up in flame, and you see Andros sort of like stood with disheveled hair, just sort of like standing on the cart, just like looking around frantically.
I'll immediately cast Dark Vision on myself.
Okay. Both of you now roll me a perception check, please. Okay. You start frantically looking around for something. Andros is like scrambling, looking around the cart for like whatever could have come close or what has done. Baylor, you take like a bit of a wider scope that you're over by the campfire, and you see on the other side of one of the carts, you see a pair of legs quietly and gracefully sort of like skip across, running to the other side.
Who's running there? Andros, did you see that?
I look over and like, Bale, are you pointing to where it was, or
Yeah, I'm pointing to where I saw the legs running.
am I able to go behind the cart?
As you walk over there, and both of you, I imagine both of you heading over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you both walk over to the cart, you see Hassith. You see him with tired eyes, yawning, and like wiping his sort of like face with his hands, being like, "And what are you doing shouting so much? It's not morning yet."
We just saw someone.
I before even talking to him, I cast hold person on him.
Oh shit. Put whole person in the chat, please. Wisdom saving throw. That is a fail. He gets locked in place.
Okay, and I just say, Bale, wake everyone else up.
I'll go back and wake everyone up.
Okay, you wake up the rest of your boys, Anxie and Zinni. You two are now awake. Cedric is unresponsive. That dude is too tired and is literally catatonic right now. He if you didn't see his chest going up and down, you'd be worried he'd be dead. But the two girls have been woken up.
And we all gather around him, I guess.
Oh, here he is.
And okay, I say, okay, I'm going to cancel. I'm going to release the spell. Don't try to escape. I want to know what's going on. Like, cancel.
Before you have the chance to release it, he does break free of it.
Okay, well, we're all around him anyway, so.
And what is all this for? Why? What's wrong with you people?
Did we know about the alarm?
I mean, I told you guys about it. I didn't tell them
Okay.
about it. I just motion to answer.
Okay.
So I suggest, can you use detect thoughts and see what he's up to.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so I used speech on him, and I tell him, well, it seems someone's been sniffing around and poking his nose where he's not supposed to.
You watch as he's sort of like taken aback as you start speaking into his mind, and he quickly locks eyes with you and says back to you, "Sneaking? What do you mean? I was just returning back to my cart." What are these accusations? I haven't done anything.
Where were you returning from?
I slept out in one of the fields, and I'm coming back to the cart now that we're getting closer to morning.
Why are you sleeping in a field?
Because I like to.
And why did you go past our cart?
Because it's in between the field where I was sleeping in my cart. What is your problem?
I cast detect thoughts on him.
Put detect thoughts in the chat for me, please.
Yeah, a second. Sorry.
Oh, fuck me, I forgot how big this thing is. Okay, so as you cast it, you immediately get like the surface thoughts of his brain, which is just like, oh shit, what do these people want? They're gonna wake everyone up. That's what you immediately get. If you want to dive deeper, hold on. Where does it say what the roll is? Isn't actually. If you probe deeper, wisdom save. So, do you want to try to probe deeper?
Yeah, I want to see whether he was actually doing anything.
Okay, hold on. It says your spell save DC is 15, but I'm not exactly sure if that's right.
It is 15.
Even with the new proficiency bonus update? Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Would I know if he fails?
So
Okay.
as you try to probe deeper into his mind, you feel something shut down and lock you out.
Can I use silvery barbs?
Oh, fuck, you can. Put silver barbs in the chat just to make sure it's not like on attack or something.
Yeah, I don't think it's on attack. Ability check or saving throw. It makes within 1 minute.
Okay. It re-rolls then. And that now does not beat a 15. You probe deeper into its mind, and you instantly discover a sense of fear and of worry, and one of extreme annoyance. You hear this guy repeating to himself, "I was just walking back to my cart. They can't accuse me of anything. What the fuck?"
So he was actually not doing anything bad.
As you start to probe a little deeper, you see that he was annoyed that you're accusing him, because though he didn't do anything, he sort of like sat there thinking to himself, "I wasn't going to do anything anyway. I just wanted a look, a little peek. They can't know that I was just doing that. I just walked by the cart."
So, sorry for intruding your mind, but it seems like you were taking a peek at our stuff.
Yes, I just took a little look inside.
Hmm.
First of all, the fact that you didn't ask for consent is highly suspicious.
Well,
It was
sir,
very
we didn't-
strange of you. But regardless, I just was walking by your cart on the way from the field where I was sleeping to mine. Yes, did I take a little look to see that you were all still there? Yes. Was I going to do anything more? Of course not. Why are you accusing me of anything? What are you even accusing me of?
Baylor is in. Can you go like check our packs and such to make sure all our stuff's still there?
Yes.
Well,
Make sure nothing's missing.
you see, it's normal for us to be a bit on alert. We don't really know any of you guys, and for once, you did enter our cart, which obviously made us suspicious. And now that I know you
the
were
cart, I
taking...
just walked past it.
Ah. But you did take a peek, which makes
Yes,
me
I walked a
Your
little
eyes
close
entered
and
the
had a
car.
little peek. You can't. I've not committed any crime. What are you saying?
Or if you have...
I look over and ask, is anything missing?
As you take the time to look over your bags, your own pistol bags, nothing's missing that you can account of.
Everything's here.
Okay. Sorry, we didn't really said you did anything, but sorry
No,
for
you
being extra
just-
careful.
You just magically held me still and then interrogated me intensely. No, you didn't accuse me of anything, of course.
Well, you did pass our stuff, and we wanted to check
Oh,
whether
I'm
you
sorry, walking past
you
is
did
a crime
anything.
now. I shall give you a wide berth next time.
questioned
Please do. That would
It
be
was-
appreciated.
He didn't fucking walk past. He must have gotten into the cart in order to trigger the alarm.
No, it's a 20-yard radius around it, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
It's 20-yard radius, but it's from like the center of the cart, so it's more like a 10-yard around the cart, I guess.
Well, technically, he did take a peek, so I don't feel guilty.
And
Yeah,
I kind of feel like
I just respond to him saying, like you weren't just walking past, you were taking a peek. I'd suggest keeping your nose to yourself.
Regardless, sorry, go on.
no, carry on. I'll do my next.
Regardless, I'd like to apologize for, being a bit rough about it, but we can't really not be alert on these roads. We don't know any of you people, therefore we were rather cautious. I'd like to apologize for being rather rough and untrustworthy, interesting, but I hope you can understand. And I give him 1 gold.
He looks down at the gold in your hand, looks up at you, and sort of like gives you like that fucking stank eye and goes, "I accept your apology." And
Okay.
flamboyantly spins around and saunters off to his car.
Should I use my wand of smiles on him, make him happy?
I feel like we played with him enough.
Okay, we'll leave him. How long left in the night? Is it worth just going back to bed, or?
At this point, there's like you can see the golden light starting to come to the horizon. There's probably only like about 30 minutes of darkness left.
Does that mean that basically you used already 2 spell slots and it's after our long rest and I can't?
If you guys take the moment to
Recharging.
just sit down for a half hour, then you'll get your long rest. You're going to get
Okay,
it
I'd love to do
regardless.
that.
But yeah, if you just take a half minute to just recover from what just happened, you can now press the long rest buttons on your sheets.
Are we all back at our cart?
Yeah.
I hope so.
I'll say quietly to the group, guys, I don't really trust that guy. I was
Yeah.
sitting right there and I was awake. I didn't hear a single thing. He snuck up to our cart.
Yeah, I mean, and next time what I'll do is I will cast it only on the cart, like area-wise, and
Yes.
we keep our stuff inside the cart just to avoid potentially false alarms like that.
You have other reasons to be suspicious, Baylor. I probed his mind and he was rather suspicious. He was looking at our things.
Well,
Didn't
I
take
mean,
any.
I have no doubt, like the moment he opened a bag and saw like platinum and such, some of it would have gone missing.
I didn't like the guy from the first time we met him. I got a vibe from him, so
Yeah, I've been
As
looking.
mentioned, like you didn't see anything at all, Baylor, or you didn't hear anything. Yeah, so it's like you would have got away with it. We didn't have alarm.
He is sneaky.
Very sneaky.
I think we need to be we keep an eye out for this sort of thing when we get to the city as well.
Who was
Yeah.
it, Brooke?
No, it was the tabaxi.
Hasseth.
Oh, the Khajiit.
Tabaxi, we can't say Khajiit here. That is of a different intellectual property.
He's a Khajiit.
Stop it! We can't call it that.
We just see lights in the distance. It is the lawyers approaching.
The Pinkertons are here. Alright. After you've all pressed your long rest buttons, light is just starting to shimmer through the sky. The day is yours once more.
Maybe a break time?
Yeah, that's actually a perfect time to take a little break. Let's take a quick 5-minute break and we will return back in a second.
I mean,
What are you laughing at?
I'm guessing it's general chat in you that just.
it's you!
What the fuck? I do see that. Fuck you guys. 5-minute break, let's go.
And alarm paying for itself already.
Oh, Tony.
Oh, the other spell I got is, I guess, as a ritual is comprehend languages, by the way, which should be useful.
Nice. Wait, how many fucking spells did you get?
Oh, I got because of the invocation, I got 2 new invocations and I swapped a previous one. So I got Pact of the Tome as well.
Yeah,
So
and you get
as a
extra
result of
cantrip.
leveling up, I got 8 spells.
Else. Do you
I got-
can you actually take that many as a level up?
Well,
I mean,
no,
you're taking in
it's
terms
a combination of, so I get 1
Yeah.
spell from the level up itself. 1 spell I swapped an old spell for a different spell.
Yeah, fair.
Pact of a Tome, which gives 3 cantrips and 2 ritual level 1 spells.
Holy fuck.
So I've got Shape Water, Control Flames, Levitate, Spare the Dying,
The
Comprehend
fuck?
Languages, Alarm, and some Vampiric Touch and Hunger of the Dark.
You've gotten so many useful stuff.
Yeah,
Well
it's-
fucking done.
yeah. I think an alarm is going to be useful in comprehend language stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah.
going to find a time for. So
I've had a scroll of comprehend ages for a while now. Comprehend languages, sorry.
But
But having it as a spell is way fucking better.
yeah,
I also
having
have it as a spell, by the way.
Oh god.
having also shape water and control flames seems useful.
It is.
I do like
Mhm.
doubling the brightness of a campfire when I need to, etc.
Yeah. Is alarm a level 1 spell? Or
Alarm is a level 1 spell, but I can cast it as a ritual.
as a ritual, yeah.
Hence it takes 10 minutes, but obviously when you're resting anyway.
Yeah, fair.
You
Lovely.
make it either have like an audible like alarm like bell sound, or I can make it like silent, but if it's silent it'll wake me up as long as I'm within 1 mile of it,
Yeah, fair.
which is more useful, I think.
Whew.
The only downside is I still only have 2 spell slots.
Yeah. I mean, at least some of them are cantrips and also cast as rituals, so that should be fine.
Yeah, a lot of utility stuff is cantrip at least.
Plus, your main spell is a fucking cantrip as well, so you should be fine.
Yeah, I'm a main spell to double in damage, technically.
Mm. Does your Eldritch Blast now deals double damage? Is it like 2?
Well, no, it's you use it twice, so you fire 2 beams. Both you have to roll to hit independently, so it's not technically double damage.
Yeah, I know. I didn't mean it as double damage, but rather as twice
Yeah,
across
if
beams.
then it's 2d10 basically.
Mm. And if you get hasted, you basically have to roll 4 times for an Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, and I can have like 4 different targets as well.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Basically works the same way as like Sculpts double hit does now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, since if we get into combat before we get to Halfhurt, or even while we're there, I can just haste you.
I'm glad I didn't use alarm bags, but we probably would have stolen everything we had.
I mean, to be
He seems pretty
fair,
sneaky.
once he left, because he and with the description of him being heroic, I was like, we're getting fucked. So
Yeah, I mean, it
alarm
was
was a
such a
great
trust.
decision.
Although, to be fair, when you did deep dive into his brain, he was even saying to himself, I was only looking, I wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah, he was only looking until he opens a bag and
Yeah.
sees like between us like 1,000 or 2,000 gold. Yeah, at that point he probably decides, oh, okay, I'm going to take this and run.
Only looking to start with. His mind could always have been changed if he had found something. I don't trust him.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say like the cart itself is like sacred ground. Like nobody goes in the cart or anything else.
I hope you guys aren't racially profiling this tabaxi, by the way.
No, I love tabaxis. I just don't like rogues.
It was just the way he was talking at the start.
What do you
I just got this
mean?
vibe.
Yeah, Dax, you didn't make him very likable.
I mean, he was lucky I used whole person, not ultra fast.
I need to find some dark vision goggles.
True. You're blind as a
We
fucking
do
bat.
need to find a way to avoid pickpockets though. The town, I think. Based on everything we've been told.
Yeah. I think for now we just avoid the scrounge.
I mean, my plan is so I've got my bag with all my stuff in, but I use disguise self for myself to make it appear like I don't have a bag on me. But they're not going to be able to pick pockets that know exists.
Disguise
Or
self
they
can
can't
change your
see.
clothes as well.
Yeah, you can use it to hide stuff on your person.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, if they physically move their hand to where the bag is, they'll feel the bag
Yeah,
there.
Sorry, it's sort of like an illusion sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's an illusion. Yeah, but it's like they wouldn't go up and try and pickpocket somebody who doesn't have pockets. I
True.
wouldn't think to. Anyway, unfortunately, you can't cast alarm on a moving object as far as I'm aware.
Well, technically, you.
As far as I'm aware, it's like a space you define. So if you move out of that space, then it stays there.
Yeah, I was thinking if you basically cast alarm on your back, whether it would work, but it's probably moving with you.
Yeah, I mean, again, you don't cast it on an object. You cast it in like a cube of space.
Yeah,
And
true.
it stays there. Obviously, if we leave the card somewhere, then I can cast it on the card and go off, and we'll know if someone tries to.
If somebody attempts to pickpocket us, it's a sleight of hand check for them, right?
Yep.
And would they have to beat all of our passive perception, or just the person they're pickpocketing?
Probably all of yours? Since you're like in close proximity.
Does anyone have glyph of warding?
If anyone has it, it might be Zinni.
I would think, yeah, it might be Zinni.
Just thinking, so if we have like a pouch and we enchant something there with a glyph of warding to trigger when somebody opens and tries to take you that isn't us, so that it casts fireball.
Excuse you?
Well, it teaches you not to pickpocket.
True. Instant death.
I mean, probably instant death for all of us as well, but, and everyone else in like an 8-foot radius.
Do you think they'd try pickpocket us if we have a wolf walking around with us?
Maybe not.
I can arrange that.
Let's fucking go. See, guys, that's my wolf pet. His name is Terry.
Yeah, actually, I think it is might just be to walk around invisible.
True. But that way our spell slots will be gone. Wait, can you cast it without a spell slot?
I can cast it on myself as long as it's like dim or dark when I cast it. I can just go into the shadows, cast it, and walk around.
Or during the day, you might not be able to, depending
Well, I mean,
on
just
the
a
weather.
dark alley, yes. You need to be some. There needs to be some sort of. I mean, even like middle of the day at the moment, I could just go underneath the car where it's like in shadow and cast on myself.
Holy fuck.
The light just where I am needs to be dim or dark.
I can just walk around the town as a changeling and everyone would be just scared. I might
wonder-
take their lives.
I wonder if I should just carry around an umbrella,
An umbrella.
just to make it like a patch of dim light around myself, so I can just go invisible whenever.
We're cooking.
Okay, are we good to return to the game? Is everybody here?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tony is pooping but can hear us. Okay, cool.
Oh, took us with her.
Alright, so, with it now becoming morning and light just breaching into the sky, people are sort of like kicking away the campfire, sort of like stamping the cinders into the ground. The rest of the people are sort of packing up their stuff, heading on their carts. Presso sort of like looks over to you guys and says, "It was nice speaking to you all. Always fun to find someone who's interested in the more scholarly aspects of life. I shall wish you well and wish you good luck on your ventures."
Likewise.
I just warn him to, if he's travelling in the same direction as him, just keep an eye on that roguish fellow.
Hassus peeks up and sort of, "Oh, come on. Really? This is too much."
He's kidding, obviously. And I use telepathic speech on Presser. But for real though. And he's a bit sneaky.
Presso sort of like looks around and, well, good day then, and whips his cart and starts to slowly head off before everyone else.
Is the bard still there?
The Bard and Coney are sort of like paired together, and they sat on the front of their cart and is like, it's nice meeting you all. Yeah, we'll maybe see you around sometime.
I hope so. Yeah, Xeran.
Yeah.
You seem to be experienced with music.
Oh, yeah.
You've got any fun stories about how you probably played somewhere in the city?
Well, I mean, I just finished studying at the Bard's College in the city that you're heading to, so like, I'm off to go find me a gig.
Oh, I hope you find money. Was it lovely in the college? How did you find it?
Nice enough. Teaching you everything you need to know. Teaching you the classics. So boring. But yeah.
Hopefully one day we see you play.
Yeah, hopefully, you know. Maybe I'll be as big as Connie someday. And whoosh, their cart starts to roll off into the distance.
I was fishing for that bardic inspiration.
No. Hathsith and Brug realize that Presso, who they are travelling with, has headed off, and they start to... Oh! And they briskly run along and jump on the back of Presso's cart. Leaving just you guys and yours, and a still incapacitated Cedric on the back of it, who is sleeping off now his last point of exhaustion. So,
We
Well,
should be on our way, guys. Let's
let's go,
let's do this.
team.
as you guys head off, Zinni at the reins again. Are you back, Tony? I'm assuming that's a no. Someone else... Oh! Did I hear her? I don't know if I heard her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're here. Can you roll an animal handling check for us?
1 sec. I was just washing my hand.
Oh, sure.
I'm
That's
coming.
Nice.
Animal handling.
If it's a 1, horse just die.
14.
As you gently jiggle the reins, the horse gets the cue and starts pulling on the cart. You guys head off in the direction of Ral Hafted.
Third.
You
Did you
don't
hear
need
my
to-
horse?
What was that?
Did you hear my horse?
I didn't know. Can you do that again?
No.
Alright, guys, I want to let you know that Zinni is taking over for Voices of the Animals on the rest of this.
Yes, please.
I think we might need to find a bed for horses and sound too well.
Next campaign, both Zinni and Cedric basically coming out
Fucking
as
playing
horses.
centaurs, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Alright,
Oh, he's better than 2 goblins in a trench coat.
true.
Aw.
Fuck me. Moving on, you guys gently start trotting down the road once more. And it's again just another pleasant day. As you're walking, even in these flat plains, you're starting to feel a lot more of the fresher coastal air. Like the whole air itself around here starts to feel lighter. And it's nice. It's a nice, pleasant thing. It only takes about half an hour for you guys to start to see something on the horizon. You see what looks like sort of like a little mound, like a little bump in the land ahead. And as you ride closer and closer, this mound seems to just start growing taller and taller. About like 3 hours in, you then start to see some city walls. And as you're riding closer and closer, as far as you can tell, there's like some dark greyish city walls with some dark blue cones like around and scattered along the top of the walls. And it seems like within these walls of the city there is this giant sort of almost like a mesa looking sort of like cliff where it just like it climbs up and then completely plateaus to a shelf at the top. You can't exactly see anything on the top of it, but this must be Ral Haftard. And as you're clipping and clopping closer and closer, and it comes into better vision, you see a big, vast, expansive city wall. It looks like this city, at least from the front half that you can see, looks somewhat almost circular. Like it's like there's a straight wall that you're heading to, and then it sort of like curves and starts to like head off. Not like actually curves, it's all like straight lines, but it starts to like the walls start to like head around and probably or maybe connect again at the back. This city looks massive. Even from like the distance you are away from it, this looks like in just area and size alone to be bigger than Ral Nibblegup by like 2 to 3 times. This is a considerably bigger city with a considerably bigger population. It was briefly mentioned before by the trader that you passed through that Ral Nibblegup is sort of seen as sort of like a passing through city, where a lot of merchants that are travelling and passing through will stop there and offload some goods, but will then move on to bigger cities that are bigger trading partners. You immediately sort of get the scale of what he was talking about when you see the scope of how much bigger this city is. As you're getting closer in range, the big sort of cliff platform thing in the middle of the city, you see that it sort of like steadily slopes inwards to the top. It's like it's a very steep slope, but it's not like a straight up wall or anything. It looks like a cliff that theoretically could be climbable, but given how far away you are from it, it looks incredibly tall. Like there is like, even as you're looking at it, it already looks really big, and you're still like miles away at this point, but you're still able to see that there's like a significant like the city walls probably come like up like decently high as city walls would, but then like double the city walls, so it's like the city wall is like 1/3 of how tall this platform is. So like this platform in the middle is like disproportionately taller than like anything that you've seen around it, to the point where it almost even looks like unnatural, because like there's no like mountain range. Everything else around the horizon that you see is sort of like either a very gentle rolling hill There is nothing resembling anything that could look like a cliff face here, and it looks almost out of place in that sense. As you're slowly riding up to it, you eventually come within like a couple 100 feet of this massive, expansive city. There is a big double doors right in front of you with a path leading straight to it. As you've been traveling into the city now, a lot of the farm pastures are a lot more densely populated, a lot more people working them, especially as you're coming in now. This is like the start of the workday where a lot of the farmers are working as well, tilling and working the fields, feeding the animals and that. Everything's starting to get a lot more densely populated. There's a lot more people coming to and fro on these roads because the farmers are traveling out from the city to their fields to get to them. There's a lot of people that you're passing. And in not a lot of time, you are like 30, 40-ish feet from the city gates, and a set of guards come walking up to you. Or a set of lugs, rather. Is there anything that you guys are doing in preparation for this, or are you just gonna let Zinni take the reins on this?
Yeah, I think we're gonna unleash Zinni.
Yeah.
Okay. The two guards come up and come talk to you, Zinni, since you're the one holding the literal reins of the horse, but seem to be the one that's looking to engage with the guards. Alright, state your business. Welcome around the Ralhafted. Sorry, it is too early. Jeez. What can we do for you?
Hi, we're adventurers who are just visiting, if that's okay.
Oh, are you here to maybe take part in the arena?
Oh, yes, amongst other things.
Alright, okay. Do you guys have an adventuring name?
The Wayward Wanderers.
Wayward Wanderers. Okay. I'll make sure the captain knows that you're in the city should you happen to be needed for anything, though I don't think that'll be the case. Welcome to Ralhafted. Stay wherever you like. I hope you enjoy your time with us. And he sort of like steps out the way, allows you inside, sees the rest of you. Oh, one more thing. Is that guy okay? And he just points at Cedric.
He had a long couple of days. He's just taking a bit of a rest.
He sort of like comes a little bit closer to the cart as you're sort of still slowly driving by him. He's like, he is breathing. Okay, right. Yeah, alright, cool. Take care. And you are entered through the giant city gates. The streets in front of you are incredibly busy. Currently you're on a main road that's probably like 80, 90 feet wide. Big wide road coming straight through the length of the city doors, basically. On your left, immediately what you have immediately looks like some kind of like a sawmill, because there's plenty of logs and planks and sort of like other things outside stacked in the front, in their like little fence. And to your right is a big, vast and expansive building that has a ton of crates out the front of it. There's a couple people talking, some in like very unique cultural clothing that you've not seen before. Some people just talking here and back again. You see money being exchanged. You get the idea this is some kind of a merchant's guild. And these are the first two buildings you see on either side of you. Coming further into the city, you see, so what you're basically looking at right now is that this big wide path of a city goes straight ahead and eventually stops and looks like it goes both left and right. In between the various buildings that you see like little alleyways and like other things you could slip into and walk to, some even like properly marked streets, but this big wide city road goes down, and then equally wide city roads like spread out going left and right. You see a giant, what looks to be an inn in front of you, and you say this because it looks like it's got a big sign on the front of it saying the Ladies' Garden. It's got all different sort of like windows spotted along the top and bottom up to 3 floors up. But that's what's dead ahead of you at the crossroads. The next buildings that you start to walk past is... Actually, hold on. One thing I forgot. The horse and cart wouldn't be allowed inside the city. You park it up and leave it with the stable. They'll charge you a gold a day to like make sure the horse and the cart are like maintained. Someone keep a note of that. So you guys are walking in the city now, sorry.
Just a question.
Mhm.
The guys in the previous city, didn't they tell us to leave the horse and the cart in the stable in the next city and it would be fine? Like, instead of returning it, can we just do that?
Oh, yeah. So
I
they'll...
didn't really buy that though.
You did buy the horse rather than paying a down payment and being expected to return it, but you can sell it again for 10 gold back to this stable and then not have to worry about upkeep.
That's probably
Yeah.
So it effectively
Yeah,
acts like a down payment.
Shall we do that too?
Yeah, we'll do that. We can always get another one if we need it.
Okay, Zinni, add 10 gold to your sheet then. So, as you came into the city, there was the sawmill on the left and the merchant's guild on the right. The next building on the left, next to the sawmill, looks to be some kind of carpenters. You can see this because a lot of the planks and logs of the sawmill are being sort of like lifted and pulled across into the next building over. You also see a couple of little market stalls outside the front of it, selling all manner of little crafted wooden toys and lots of little sort of like ornaments and decorations and other things for your house. There's like a nice looking chair. There's sort of like there's a cabinet there as well. There's like just a little store, I guess, showcasing what this carpentry has to offer. Opposite that, on the other side of the road, looks to be what is very clearly like a guard's barracks. There's a lot of guards stood outside there, a lot of them funneling out after having just woken up and taking up their duties for the morning. And that is what you see immediately as you come in. What the hell are you guys doing in this busy street?
Okay, I'm just thinking we probably don't want to be walking around with all our money. That seems like a bad idea. So I'm thinking is if we go and basically rent a room at the inn or something, we can store all our money in that room, you keep it secure, and just carry what we need to spend.
How are we
can do
sure?
that.
How are we sure it wouldn't disappear from there?
Well, I'm thinking we can put. I can cast alarm on the room, so we'll know if someone enters it, and we can also.
Or ask for a
Yeah.
safe or something?
I mean, if they have a safe as bad as well, or we can also put our own lock on the door and such. Or
Like a
and we'll leave
lock.
Cedric there as well. So obviously he's a bit unconscious at the moment, barely limping along.
Are we carrying Cedric?
I'll say that, like, you can get him to the point where you can get him on his feet. Like when your parents take you to bed, they sort of, like, just, like, walk you up the stairs, but you don't remember it in the morning because you were too tired.
Right, so he's like hanging on our shoulders kind of thing.
If you want to get him... yeah, because you're already out of the cart, yeah. So that's sort of, like, how you guys are walking right now. He's, like, still essentially sleeping on his feet.
No,
Yeah.
we sold him at the stable master as well with the horse.
Yeah, he sold him.
Well,
Are there any signs to say which part of the city we're in?
Not as far as you can see.
Ladies' Garden sounds fancier, you know.
It does. I just want to be sure we're not in this scrounge area that we've been warned of. Do we see any little kids trying to sell us maps for 5 copper?
Was gonna ask the same. Any
You-
maps?
Don't see any. There's
You
all
not
manner
prepare
of like
my
really
facts?
busy people around, lots of things going on, lots of things happening. Everybody's going about their day.
Alright, let's go to the inn and we can query the inn what part of the city we're in, I'm sure. And we can find out what rooms cost. This
Okay.
ladies' garden.
So, you walk on up to the ladies' garden. There is a bouncer at the door. A
Oh, let's go.
big dude. Nice big and round dude. Somewhat of a friendly face, but it looks like he's like rather deliberately trying to put on a scowl. Hey! Are you customers?
Potentially.
Ah, okay, cool. Alright, cool, yeah, head on in.
Thank you.
And he just sort of like smiles at you as you walk past him and head inside. Into the ladies' garden. As you come in, the first thing that you notice, this is a big tavern. Like, really big. A lot of things going on, a lot of people walking back and forth. There is like a little front desk with a couple clerks behind it, but the whole atmosphere and the vibe of the place is ecstatic. There's bard music playing, and a lot of people just enjoying their time.
Does it look like it's very upper class or sort of the same level as the Lord's Garden?
What you can sort of like get is that like this is right in the middle of the town, arguably the place where like everybody's funneling in through. You see some people that look like they're fresh off the road, and you see some people who look like they're decently well off. This sort of like looks like a not necessarily a tourist trap, that doesn't necessarily fit it, but it's more that like this is something that was a bit more high-end and placed very deliberately in this very specific point in the city so that you would come here, basically.
Alright, let's approach the the clerks.
So you come up to the clerk. It is a dwarven lady. Hiya there. Welcome to the Lord's Garden. Are you looking to stay with us?
Quite possibly. Hiya. I just want to make sure we've been warned about an area in the city. We don't know the city very well. We're new here, but we've been warned about an area in the city called the Scrounge.
Oh yes, no, that's as you came in, the path to the right would take you down to the Scrounge. Yes.
Well, we're not in the Scrounge now.
No. Only everything past the Twins is a Scrounge. It is.
Okay. What do your rooms cost?
We're currently running. We got different grades of rooms. We got some of the more simple rooms running at 5 silver a night, and we've got rooms up to. Most of our rooms are around 1 gold a night, but that does include breakfast. And we've also got some really penthouse rooms that go for 5 gold a night.
The simple rooms, are they? Would you consider them to be safe?
Oh, say that again. Sorry, Shift.
The simple rooms, would you consider them to be safe?
Safe? Of course they're safe. This is our business. We do everything we can to keep you safe.
Okay, because you see our friend over here, he's quite exhausted, so we would like to rent a room or two. And
I didn't
leave
want to
him
say
in the room
anything,
while
but he
we
does
go
look
out
half asleep, he does.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that he's going to be safe in the room.
Oh yeah, of course. No, you all get locks to the keys to the rooms. You'll be able to keep your friends safe in that while you go explore the rest of the city.
Okay.
So just to ask quickly as well, these penthouse rooms are they one room rooms?
Oh
Or is it
no!
like a whole penthouse garden?
The 5 silver rooms would be enough to fit in like 1 person each. But the rooms from a gold up will fit like 4 or 5 people. But the penthouse rooms, we can make them fit as many as you want, put more beds in if you want. It's more like an entire inn of its own in terms of like size.
For how much?
5 gold a night it is.
I think that probably makes more sense. Like one place to secure seems easier than 5.
You want to be fancy, guys?
Did you say the one gold room would fit 4 to 5 people?
It does, yeah.
We could save some money and do the one gold room.
I mean, if we're gonna stay here, we might as well stay in style.
Yeah. Does any of the rooms have a safe?
Not by default, but the penthouse rooms you have to get past security in order to get up there. If you were looking to like make sure things are stored safely.
Hear me out, guys. I'm gonna pay for at least two nights.
Oh, we can split between us. 5 ways is 1 gold a night.
1 gold a night. Let's do it. Right. We'll take the penthouse suite room thing, and we need 5 beds, please.
5 beds? Alright. Well, we can do that, no problem.
8 days in advance.
And we'd like to pay for at least 2 nights immediately.
Okay, well that'll be 10 gold for you then.
Is that a good idea, guys? Because I just bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might as well do. Yeah. Like 2 gold
Okay,
each.
2 gold each.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Just so you know, we here at the Ladies' Garden pride ourselves on some very good service. Please treat our staff members with respect. You can also go and visit the Ladies' Garden at any time. This building is sort of like encompasses a small, somewhat magically enchanted garden that you can go and walk between. If you've been to our sister location in Ral Nibblegup, you may be somewhat familiar with this. This is sort of like a bigger scale of that. But yeah, please take care and enjoy yourself. Go out in the garden whenever you like. Breakfast is served in the morning while the golden light's in the sky. But yeah, take care of yourselves. Here's your key.
Thank you. Is your sister location in round Nibblegup?
Yes, yeah, it is, yeah.
Lord's Garden.
Yeah, Lord's Garden, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, we're coming from there.
Oh, you are you? Oh, well, you'll be very familiar with our place then. Although I do think we got a nicer garden than them.
Oh, we can't wait to explore.
Out of interest, do you have a turtle in your garden?
We do not, no. That...
Okay. Just thought.
Alright.
I just out of character, I was just wondering if we could steal their turtle and take it to the other one.
Oh, you really didn't like the idea of Kylos just meditating in the others as the giant turtle we offered.
So, you've got your key. What are you guys doing?
So I'm
Head
gonna
up
go
the
up to the
room.
room, I guess, first.
Okay.
Yeah, apartment or whatever it is.
You see a staircase that has floors 2 and 3 written on it, and then you see another staircase that says penthouse only. So heading up, I'm assuming the penthouse staircase. You travel 3 floors up, and when you get to the top, there is a team of 3 guard-looking people. Not in like literal armor, but sort of like something close to it. They look like somewhat padded out. They've got blades by their sides. Halt. Are you staying here tonight?
For at least 2 nights, actually.
Did you just purchase your room?
Yeah.
Okay, well, pleasure to meet you. Welcome to the Ladies' Garden. Let me show you to your room. Can I see your key for a second?
Who has it?
I'll hand him the key.
Yep, I know which one this is for. Follow me. And you guys walk around. You turn a corner, like a 90-degree corner, and you walk for a bit again, passing a couple more rooms. You turn another 90-degree corner, walking past again, and on the left, he opens your door, and inside you are greeted with a nice, big, spacious room. The first thing you immediately notice is that there's a lot of like sitting room in this room here. There's like a table, a couple sofas, a coffee table. There's a couple of side rooms. Once when you open up, it's nice, a quite nicely big bathroom with a big hot bath in it, and you find a couple of different rooms, one that's got 3 beds in it, one that's got 2. And they are nice, sort of like, not single beds, just a bit bigger than single.
This is quite possibly the fanciest place I've ever seen. In fact,
Same.
I've only seen like 2 or 3 places.
It is definitely different from our cart.
A lot different. This will take some getting used to.
Sorry, is it like one big room you said?
Yeah, like one
It's a
big room with a
couple
bunch of
more.
side rooms.
Okay, am I able to look around and see if there's any other ways people could get in other than like the main entrance?
There are some windows. Your windows look out towards the big. Fuck! I need to call it something other than the man. You're looking at the cliff face. It's still like you're not like right next to it, so it's not like you've been shafted with the view. There's like several rows of houses before you see this giant cliff, and like it's taking up most of your vision. But like as you like get real close to the window, you can see like either side of it and look down up to the north and south, just about. There are these windows, but you are now 4 floors up, and at the top, by the way, as well, the ceiling starts to go up diagonally, meaning that you are at the very top floor of this building.
Okay, so I guess we'll put Cedric down on one of the beds. Or sofa.
You plonk Cedric down on a bed, and he just sort of like limps into it and goes, "Oh, thanks, guys. I'm
sure that's him."
tired." And immediately clocks back to sleep straight away.
Does Sizzle want to hang out with us?
Sizzle, you see at the call of his name, sort of like sneaks up from out under the armor and goes, "Hey. What?
Do you want to hang out with us today?
He's been sleeping a lot. Is he okay?"
He'll be fine.
Okay.
He's just been shagging.
Oh, do you want to tell him like? Do you want to tell Sizzle not to like eat the bag of stuff that's in his bag?
The food?
No, the drug things he put in his bag. Just let him know it's not a treat. or
Don't
something.
sniff these. Therefore,
Whatever you do, don't go near his bag.
Oh,
Okay, Sizzle?
okay. Can I come hang out with you? He's being really boring.
Yeah.
Okay. And he just sort of like flies a little bit. He can't like fully fly, but he sort of like flaps his wings for a bit and just like floats over enough to you before he like sort of like catches onto your shoulder and like sits on your shoulder and sort of like nuzzles the top of his head against your cheek and sort of like, where are we?
home.
We're in a new city. Ral
Oh.
Third. I can't say that.
Third.
Okay, cool. Let's go explore.
Yeah.
Before we go
Give us
explore, like I'd suggest like putting away like a good portion of your money, just and only carry what you think you're gonna need to spend.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I mean,
Uh,
So I go up to where my bed is and I find a knife and I just cut a hole in the side of a mattress and just stuff my bag in it.
I see what he's doing, and I know the same thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave my whole pack here, and I'm just gonna take 35 platinum with me.
Okay.
35 platinum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
if
gonna
I
leave
die, then
everything.
I'm just gonna be 30 platinum.
I'm gonna take like what seems much for me. Let's say 10 platinum.
Yeah, I'll just take 10 platinum as well.
Before we go out, guys, there is one thing I'm gonna do, and as a ritual, I want to cast locate animals and plants and see if I can find any turtles in the city.
Well, yeah, just to know as well, the platinum that I take, I put it in like a pocket on the inside of my jacket.
Yeah, same inside my
Not-
robe.
Yeah, so it's like hard to get to. But also, while he's casting his ritual, I also cast alarm as well.
Okay.
On this like entire room.
Mhm.
Around the entrance and like the windows.
Yeah, as much as the entrance area as I can. Yeah.
Okay.
I wish I created Tanksy with huge tits and I could just put the platinum between them.
I mean, you are like a shapeshifter.
I've not seen such lady. What about the magician? Magdalena, does she have?
Yeah, you shapeshift into Magdalena. She's got decent tits.
For the amount of platinum that we've got, I don't think that would fit in between your tits, even
I'm
if
not
they were
getting all of
massive.
it. I'm not getting all of it. I'm just getting a bit. And I'm hoping they would sit there. Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm just putting it inside a small pocket I have in my robe. But imagine.
Okay. You guys have put away your stuff. Please make sure you've got like written in your own notes how much you're carrying, because I ain't gonna keep a track
Yeah.
of that. But yeah, the day
what
is
should I
yours.
carry?
A smile.
A bit of gold, right?
Yeah.
My
Andres
notes
and I
is-
are taking 10 platinum.
I just made a
Each.
note in the chat. Just look back.
Oh, that's a good show. Write it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay.
I have it in my notes, but okay, I can.
Ten platonias.
Okay. So, what would you guys like to do?
Did I
think,
find any turtles in the city?
After ritually casting, how far is the radius again?
5 miles.
5 miles you stretch your mind out to try and locate the animal known as a turtle.
Tortoise.
In my world, they're the same thing. I ain't gonna fuck it.
Okay, that's big turtle.
You do not get any pingback of any kind of turtle.
And we wouldn't know if the 5 mile radius covers the whole city or not.
You
what's
do
going
not know that yet.
Okay.
I think probably go take a look at the market. I need to buy a few things. Go back to you guys. It'd be good if we can get a map as well.
Yeah, let's ask at the reception if they've got a map of the city.
Okay. So you guys head back down the stairs once more. As the guards passed you, they're like, take care of yourself, enjoy your stay.
Thank you.
Circling back down the stairs again, you come back to the front desk lady. Hiya! Your rooms are alright?
It's lovely.
It's amazing.
I've never seen such a big room.
Well, we do aim to impress.
And you can count me as impressed.
So is there anything else I can do for you?
We were wondering, do you perhaps have a map of the city for us?
We don't keep any on us ourselves, but there is a shop not too far from the cross that you can go find. Trenny's Artistry and Cartography, I think it's called.
And it's how do we get there?
You just take a right out of the front door here, and you'll head on up. It'll be on the main street, and you'll see it.
Great. Thank you very much. We'll be back later.
Uh,
Can we come back anytime, or do you?
Oh yeah, anytime. We're always open.
Fantastic.
by chance, do you know anywhere that sells armor and shields and so on?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of smiths all over the city. There is. It's more about you choosing whichever one you want to go to. I can't remember off the top of my head where they all are, but you ask any one of the lugs nearby that are patrolling out on the main street, and they'll be able to direct you to wherever you need.
While we're on this topic, are there any magic stores or any stores with special things being sold in there?
Yeah, there's one magic store. It's up near close to the top of the city. You'll have to go past the arena to get it, but that's on the main street as well, so you'll see that easily.
I have to pass what?
You'll walk past the arena, so it's like a very big obvious thing that you'll pass. But it's on the main street, so you'll see that as well. But it's quite a walk around.
Lovely, thank you.
Why are we just listening to the Hearthstone soundtrack on repeat?
Not on repeat.
Banging.
It's the third time it's played, and like 8 songs have played. Chill out, alright? Music selection is not my highest priority.
What's then?
Fucking drawing this fucking map.
Yeah, I usually mention map knowing that you haven't got a map ready.
I mean, you can go to Treni's Artistry and Cartography.
It's going to be burned down by the time we get there.
I'll sell that.
Yes, so we were cartographers, but we forgot how to do maps.
We've not seen the city.
Right. Let's see if we can get a map of the city, guys.
Let's go.
Okay. Leaving the ladies' garden, you head on back out to the city, and the best thing I can do is return you to the island map for now.
You think the Ladies' Garden is a bit of an inappropriate name?
Yeah.
I roll my
Look at
eyes at
Dax's
Zinni,
face.
and then we carry on.
He knows what I'm saying.
You can go look into whatever metaphors you want for rummaging in ladies' bushes all you want, but like that's in your
Excuse
mind
me,
only.
Who said bushes? It's a garden, guys. Come on. We're fancy now. We're paying for a penthouse.
So, going back out into the main street. Let's have a music cut. It's a busy, big street. One thing that you didn't notice as you're walking in, by the way, so currently you're at a T crossroads. You're at the very top of a T crossroads. You're like here. You walked up the main road to get here, the sawmill and the carpentry, and then the Merchants Guild and the barracks. At the very tips of the corners of the T cross, there's 2 little fountain areas with like some benches set up and a nice little garden behind it as well. Just like a walkable garden. This whole area of the city looks very nice. It's a nice sort of like paved path. You see as the streets snake out into the backs and off the main streets. It's not like paved anymore, but it's still like, you know, very obviously sort of like a well walked route. But the day is ahead of you to go where you wish.
We're going straight to the map
Map.
shop.
Yeah.
Can I just back on one little thing before we left? Can I, instead of taking 10 platinum and putting it in my pocket, can I take 20 and put 10 in each of my shoes?
Sure you can.
I love that for you.
All of you notice that Andros is a little bit taller.
He's walking like he's shat himself, because walking on coins is probably not nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So walking along, but I cast levitate to levitate like a centimeter above the ground.
I love what you've done with yourself. You look great.
Are you moving your legs like you're still pretending to walk while you
Yeah.
levitate? It's like some dude doing the Running Man, but like actually like moving at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, such a tiny amount of levitation. It's effectively just removing the stress of the coins on my foot, basically.
Okay. I see.
Would I be able to notice that?
Since you probably saw him stuff the coins into his shoe, yeah.
Yeah, okay, lovely.
I mean, they can't pickpocket my shoe, can they?
No, they cannot. It's a very smart idea.
So you're out into the street? Where are you going?
To the map place.
The window to
To the wall.
So are you going left or right out of here then?
To the right, I think she said.
Yeah, I think it was to the right.
Okay, you turn right outside of the Ladies' Garden. You start walking up this big main street. Again, there is many people walking along this street. There's an occasional horse and cart going down with like some crates on it, clip-clopping through the middle of the street. Like the outer part of the street is more where people are walking. Sometimes there are some like guards patrolling through the middle, or like a horse and cart passing through with cargo. You even actually at one point see a a man-pulled rickshaw with two people sat in the back of it. One thing you do notice is that as you were coming out of the Ladies' Garden, the path to the left started to snake slightly downwards, like on a slight incline, and going right is like a slight upwards incline. So you're like faintly walking up, but not enough to like feel more haggard by the effort or anything.
While we're walking to the backdrop, can I keep an eye out for anywhere selling like armor and shields and so on?
Sure. There's a couple of general stores on this front thing. There's also a nice looking restaurant as well. There's what looks to be some kind of adventurers guild. But just a bit past that, you see a nice little shop front with a sign that says Trenny's Artistry and Cartography.
Here's the shop, guys.
We go in.
As you come up to the shop, it's like a nice little window. You see all manner of like oil paintings, like charcoal paintings. You see a further in, you see some sort of like easels and some actual art supplies as well. But before you get anywhere, you see a sign on the front door that says "Closed for family funeral."
Oh, fuck
He
off.
trolling us, for real.
Yeah, the map's not ready, so...
Shh, they don't know that.
The map's not ready, guys. The map's not
I'd
ready.
like to report my DM, please. He's very shit.
You know, you
Alright,
could have said that earlier, Doug, so we wouldn't have tried to go to this place.
It's more fun if we try.
I mean, we could always break in and see if they have a map laying around.
Yeah, let's do that for sure.
Yeah, you break in and find a half-finished map.
No, we start breaking in and we get arrested.
If then we ask the guards, you know, do they have a map?
Alright, guys, so what are we going to do? What's our plan?
I mean, it's probably not a bad idea to see if there's like an adventurers guild and see if there's any quests.
We went past one, I think.
I've also got a thought based on the information we gathered from the travelers we met on the road. I definitely want to see the Lord and speak to the Lord of the city about what's happening around Royal Nibblegap in the forest. But we also want to see if the Lord knows anything about the symbol we saw, and if that symbol exists here in his courtroom. But it seems quite difficult to see the Lord.
Yeah, it seems like it's a combination of we need to better get into the upper city, while also he doesn't seem to take meetings as well.
No, but based on what we've heard, it sounds like if we do well in this arena tournament, that could count in our favor. And if we couple that with being the heroes of Edgewood, we might have an in.
The problem is our damn tank is sleeping right now.
He is, but we can at least go inquire about this tournament.
Also, guys, on a different note, we know these people are at the funeral. We can just go find the graveyard or something and speak to them there, you know.
We could do that.
On our way to the tournament thing.
Just crash a funeral party.
Yeah. Go and ask them for a map.
I mean, Zinni, actually, that's a good point. Zinni, are you able to cast speak with dead now?
Oh no.
No,
Yes.
I'm more thinking because I've still got Bad Skull.
Oh, guys, another idea. We go to the graveyard, we get the skull out, and we start speaking to it.
No, I mean more of the skull, like, but might know stuff about the symbols and all that.
So we are going to the graveyard, just to be sure. Good. Let's go to check on the tournament.
Cool. Yeah, let's see if we can find. I suppose if we speak to the lugs, they'll know where we should go to find out about the tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she set up the street.
So where are you going?
She said that the arena is basically just before the magic store, which is basically on the main street. So if we go towards it, we'll find it for sure.
Let's do that then.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you start to head up the street, one thing that you notice about the street as well is that on top of it having like a slight incline, it goes in complete straight lines and then has like a slight turn and then carries on in a straight line. So you get the feeling, especially coupled with the walls of the outer city that you can see, is that this city like is somewhat like maybe like an octagon or something like that, where it's like you have the outer city walls, and then you have the path that sort of mimics the angle and the turns of that shape of the outside city. So this is sort of like a... If you look on a bigger scale, it looks like a big circle, basically. And as you slowly start to climb up and up, you start walking past many, many people coming here past you. Some guards start charging down the city, like a little group of them start running down from where you came. A horse and cart travels back up through and heads like way off and veers around a corner that you can't see. There's all manner of hustle and bustle in the street, and like there's a big variety of races of people here. All manner of humans, elves, dwarves, gnomes, halflings. There's Genasi's. You even see a couple of Goliaths here and there walking through. It's a very, very diverse city with a lot of different people. You get the feeling that this must be, and for those of you who've been on the island for a while, you know, this is one of the biggest sort of like mainstay cities. This is probably, arguably, the biggest city on the island in terms of sheer population density. Carrying on up, you turn one corner once more, and you see ahead of you, on the left-hand side of the road, towering, incredibly tall, a giant Colosseum. Like just a fucking massive, circular, Colosseum-like structure. This must be the Grand Arena. It quite simply can't be anything else. You see
Could be the magic store.
You see a big banner on the front of it that says School Rivalry Sports Final this afternoon.
It's cool. Still can be the magic store, you know.
I mean, this is school lovely. So I mean, we can like sneak in and just like beat up a bunch of kids.
I was thinking more of schools of magic, but sure, yeah.
So what are you guys doing?
Andres, let's hope it's like preschool or something, or like the lower grades, because if it's like teenage kids, we might get beat up.
But it depends how many.
Anything to go by.
Yeah.
Is there like an entrance way?
There's actually a
into
couple
the
different
office?
ones, but you see several guards outside the front, sort of like there's like sort of like a bit of action or hustle and bustle. You already see some people queuing already, but it's not like actually going anywhere. It's just people who have started to loosely queue out in the street.
All right, let's approach a guard and ask about upcoming tournaments where we could perhaps compete.
Okay. You walk on over to one of the guards. He says, "Hey, What you doing?
Hi, sir. We've just recently arrived in the city. We've
Mhm.
traveled from around Levelgap, and we found a poster in the Adventurers Guild in Realm Levelgap. Speaking of a tournament of some sort for specifically looking for adventurers to come test their might.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of any tournament schedule just yet, but we are looking for people, as far as I know, to compete and to put on a show. Sure, we can take. Are you guys a group?
Could we ask what kind of competing?
Depends on what competitors we get. Sometimes it can just be an outright no holds barred battle. Sometimes it can be battle against whatever beasts or creatures we might have stored, waiting to put on a show. It can be anything we need it to be. It's a versatile arena.
That sounds interesting. Well, I could into that.
We are indeed a group of adventurers. We are the Wayward Wanderers. You may have heard of us.
I was gonna say that sounds familiar. Did you? What kind of deeds have you done?
We're the heroes of Edgewood.
Oh ho ho! I didn't think we'd be in such esteemed company. Okay, big shots. I like it. Well, the commissioner's sure to be able to find some way to slot you guys in, especially with all the hype that your name's garnered recently. Word spread across the island like wildfire about how Edgewood was nearly succumbed to shamblers, but I heard you guys pretty much single-handedly stopped them before the Indies showed up.
Well, you know, we've got big dicks.
What she said.
It's not me talking about cocks for once.
Yeah, for once.
For once. Okay, right. Well, I mean, sure, the commissioner's not in just yet, but you can come and check back around middle of the day. I'm sure he'll be happy to speak with you, to talk about what kind of event we can get set up.
Fantastic. So around the middle of the day, you say?
Yeah, middle of the day, I'd say.
All right. Actually, you were looking for a magic shop, right?
It should be after the arena, yeah.
Yeah. Is that right?
Magic
Mr.
shop?
Grant?
Yeah, just further up the road.
Fantastic. Let's head there.
All
We'll be
right.
back a little bit later.
Cool, well, I'll speak to you soon. And as you guys start to head up the road and further into the city, as you're starting to know, the buildings around the city start to, because like in between like the shop fronts and that, you can look and see between like the actual houses of the residents. You see that the houses are steadily starting to get like bigger and bigger, and like there's more proper paths in between them all, more so than you were down back at the cross. But at this point, as you start to get further and further into the city, I think now is a good point to bring the session to a close. And we will call it quits for tonight, and come back again next week. Unlucky guys, family funeral. I'm so sorry. They
And the
just
session just stopped before the magic store. Oh,
Session's over. Why don't you NZF?
oh chill out. I just stopped. All right.